30-plus men took to the slopestyle course in 2019. A new victor was crowned, but it was not easy. Our third-place podium, Mark McMorris. Our second-place, Sven Thorgan. But Red Gerard still coming out on top and dominating. Now we're back in Vail in 2020, and the field couldn't be more competitive. This is the men's slopestyle semifinals at the Burton US Open Snowboarding Championships. Let's go.
The double tripler, 50 points down, making history. Oh my goodness.
Welcome everybody to beautiful Vail, Colorado for the most prestigious snowboarding competition in the land. The Burton US Open Snowboarding Championships. We are in the men's slopestyle semifinals. We've seen weather a factor all day. We'll get into that and this magical course, but straight into run one with the Mac, Kyle Mack from West Bloomfield, Minnesota. Guys, Michigan, excuse me. The entire Midwest just lit me up right now and be like, way to come on the air, Sal, and slander the Midwest. T-Bird, Louis Vito, Sal Masachello here with you. Kyle Mack's one of those riders that you think from a natural skill perspective has all of it, but that consistency to go with the talent has kind of been the question.
It really is, yeah. He's one of the most powerful riders on the circuit. I mean, this kid is an absolute beast. Not to mention he can ride it all, from rails to jumps. I mean, the kid won a gold medal in big air, and silver medal in big air. And here he goes, Kyle Mack on course.
Just the technicality already to start it off. Tail slide 270, 50-50. He has the creativity, which is great for this course because it's all about standing out.
Switchback 9 right there. I'm kind of referencing a lot of these takeoffs. I'm calling them off camber, right? It's not the traditional straight down the fall line. It's kind of cross court, a lot of those takeoffs. And then that final rail feature right there, I like how that mixes up the jumps. It changes the strategy, changes the mentality. And Kyle Mack is about to put one down, not able to put it to his feet, but that was a burner of a first run.
CommentatorsCurse.com, log on. T-Bird literally hands him the finish. And yeah, nice work, T-Bird.
Thank you, thank you.
You know, what's great about this course is it's so different than what we see in a normal slopestyle. We have two transition features, but it's not the normal shark fin you see. They're a little bit off. They're angled off just a little bit. But his rail section, he started out so strong, and each feature is judged separately.
Yeah, and this kid is really, really technical on the rails. See, board slide to front board to fakie. And then this is where things went wrong a little bit. Backside 10 and just not quite enough speed, which is interesting because I've been getting reports from the riders that this course is running really, really fast.
You know, sometimes I feel when you know you have to go straight, that's the speed. But when you have so much speed, you might have added that extra little check, and that threw it off.
Yep.
Well, with two runs, Kyle Mack definitely knows that that one will not hold. Happy dude, you know, the first guy in line for a good time on or off of the snow. Speaking of good times, how about this three-pack of joy? We got the Olympian, we got, you won this event, excuse me, second place in 2012, so you know the landscape very well. T-Bird, legendary snowboard journalist. Guys, we're here at the Open, the house that Jake built. We're honoring Jake Burton, celebrating his life all week. Let's talk about the weather. Because right from this morning, we were like, oh, this is going to be an interesting day.
It was an interesting day because it was really sunny and really, really cold when I was walking to the course this morning. Now the clouds have moved in, about 25 degrees Fahrenheit.
A balmy 25 compared to the like 0, maybe even below this morning.
But the important part is the wind. There's very little wind out there, which is really, really nice because that can affect riders, especially in slopestyle when they're flying through the air 60, 70 feet at a time.
Exactly, and there's very light wind where not noticeable at all, but it's going to be fast. It is packed snow. The snow's already running fast. The temperature is perfect for optimal speed. And, you know, we said it with Kyle Mack's run. You know, riders sometimes have to really work to get speed in slopestyle. This one, they don't. So now it's remembering, okay, it's just one check for this feature, two checks for the, you know, it's almost adding to the mental aspect of it.
Speed is going to be the key on this magical course. And as we talked about yesterday in our pre-meeting, that variance between the old guard and the new guard and how they dance with this speed will be very interesting here in these semifinals. Well, let's take a run through the course, shall we? A little high-end technical animation. What are we looking at here at the top?
Look at all this metal at the top. It looks like a junkyard. It's just myriad options. You can go flat tube. You can go transfer from the flat bar to the down rail. I like that traditional 26-foot down rail, little ode to old school street snowboarding. Feature 2, we got the Red Bull wall ride. We got a flat down tube. We got a flat bar with that little kink at the end. It's going to send the riders up into the air.
And then we come into the transition features. We mentioned it before. Normally one just traditional spine. This time we have 2 transitional features, a backside and a front side, and you have to hit them. There's no other way. And then breaking it up with another set of rails.
I think that's really cool because gone are the days where it's rail, 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 jump, jump, jump. This is mixing up, making a little more staccato, and it's going to change the strategy and the mindset of a lot of these riders.
And then, of course, you end with the big booter at the bottom, the last impression for the judges.
Always.
32 riders, only 10 of them get to go on. We use the SLS system, invented by Rob Dyrdek. I love this SLS system. You get real-time scores on each trick, and of course overall impression based on flow and usage of the course.
It's going to be a day. I'm excited.
Settle in for all of the snowboarding that you could possibly handle. There you see our start list. Up next will be Sebe Dubuque. I just love the variance in styles when you look down at this list of names from someone like Ryozawa, Max Parrot, who's like somehow a veteran.
Yeah.
It seems like just yesterday he was in that young group of kids. Who do you guys see outside of the norm pack, Red and company, that could make a difference in this course?
I mean, I think, kid like Dusty Henrickson, have you seen some of the stuff that kid is doing online? Look at Luke Winkelmann, last year's Rookie of the Year.
Renee.
He hasn't had that big podium at the US Open. This could be his year. Rene Renekongas is definitely a name to watch.
And I'm looking at Judd, because Judd is somebody that's a very strong rider, actually made finals in the US Open of half pipe, and is just converted to slope, but there's transition. That is a big thing in this course, transition.
All right. You guys like chocolate?
I do.
I love Belgian chocolate. Sebe Dubuque loves Belgian chocolate. He's going to put some of that chocolate down on course right now. We talk about how cold it is and the weather. Almost every rider with some sort of like cheek facial protection today, because that wind is pretty searing.
Piercing.
Yeah, once they get up to speed, that can hurt the face. Sebe Dubuque dropping in switch backside lip slide through the kink. That was proper. I like that quite a bit. Into the cab 270 front board. And then that first jump. Switch backside 9.
These transition section. What's the difference in how the riders approach it as opposed to the traditional straight-on jumps?
Well, the straight-on jump, they're used to it. It's what they ride every single day. But you throw these transition features, and a lot of these riders, they're getting more time in the half pipe to be able to be competitive in these competitions. And when you add 2 of them where there's not an option, or you don't get to choose, front side's my strong side, you have to hit a front side wall and a backside wall no matter what.
What I think is interesting, too, is it makes it less linear in the sense that when you have a traditional cheese wedge takeoff, your area of takeoff is about 6 to 8 feet. Now, it's about 20 to 30. You can take off anywhere on that transition, depending on what trick you're going to do, right?
That switch backside lip slide to start through that kink. A great start here for Sebe.
Yeah, Sebe is an actual powerhouse. I mean, he's a tall dude. He rides with a lot of fluidity, a lot of speed, a lot of power, and he's equally adept at, both rails and jumps, and he can hold his own in the pipe, too. So this could be his course.
Exactly.
2 riders in a row, though, coming up short and just kind of knuckling.
Interesting. Yeah.
You know, I think it's you have so much speed coming into those bottom rails that, you know, you're just like, oh, I got to slow down. I don't need to go this fast into the rail and I'm flying off of it. But you need that speed to carry into that last jump. And it's just another thing to think about, which is funny because they never think about having too much speed.
Yeah, and you know, honestly, the light really factors into play too, right? It was sunny. You could see the contours, the curves, the shadows. Now the clouds rolled in. It does make it a little bit more, we call it flat light. Makes it a little bit harder to see the small intricacies of the course.
Next up from New Zealand, Carlos Garcia Knight. Style. This dude had, like, if you wanted to pick, like, oh, who's got some of your favorite style in the field, it would definitely be Carlos.
Yeah, he's an incredible snowboarder, incredibly nice human being. I randomly ran into him at my home resort this year and just said, what are you doing out here? And he said, it looked good, so I flew from New Zealand. He just wants to ride good snow all the time and have a blast.
That's rad.
Coming in switch right there. Backside board slide, frontside board slide. 270 on. Coming in regular into the first transition feature.
Yeah, he took off a bit more uphill than both Kyle and Sebe. Had no problem clearing that knuckle.
And you can see it's all about the angle that you hit those because you can really send it and still make the landing. You don't have to cut it downhill. The cannon box.
Talk about that cannon box. That's basically a traditional jump in and of itself. That thing is huge.
There's that frontside 1080 melon.
Straight to the sweet spot. Love the management of speed and placement in takeoff in those transition sections like you talked about was everything in that run.
Yeah, he cracked the code. First clean run from the men here today, as unfortunately Kyle Mack and Sebe DeBuck could not put one down, but Carlos Garcia Knight put down a really clean run, and what's going to get interesting now, they call it setting the bar, right? Where are the judges going to place him? Because you don't want to put him too high, you don't want to put him too low, you kind of got to get this one right. I'm sure they will, but this is a clean run. Switch board slide to front board, coming into that cannon box. Board slide 270, getting that front side grab. That's how much air time you have coming off that cannon box into the front side 1080. By all accounts, knowing how Carlos rides, a little bit of a safety run, but that's strategically a pretty smart move because now he's got one on his feet, he gets another run, he's going to see where he scores, and he can only improve from there.
And that overall impression score, we get to see it finally applied. And the bar has been set. Carlos Garcia Knight at that 67.7. Definitely going to be somewhere in the 80s, high 80s, maybe even low 90s at the top of the field. Ryo Ozawa from Japan.
Yo.
Talk about a name that people say, like, hey, where's the future of the sport? Well, it's right here at the stop of the start in the we talk about the Brazilian storm in surfing, the Japanese storm in slopestyle, and
across the board.
Just across the board. Next level Ryo Ozawa in this next phase.
And with this kid, it is all about edge control, board control. He's one of the best in the world at just turning his snowboard, which is so important in both halfpipe and slopestyle.
It's hard to find this kid not smiling also.
Oh, yeah.
He's laughing. Can I go? Oh, I'm ready to ride. I just want to go ride. And just, he has...
Oh, speaking of edge control, that thing just slipped right out. I guarantee you he's laughing right now, though. He's still having a good time. He's always in an incredibly good mood.
He's powerful.
Yeah.
You can see, like, I know he fell, but just watching him ride in, he's tucked. He's ready to go and just ready to unleash. And, you know, this is a big contest. This is a Burton US Open. And he has expectations, and he has expectations for himself and what people will expect from him. And it's nerve-wracking. This is a crazy course.
It really is, you know, and looking at, you know, just what Yo is doing right now, just having fun, having a blast. All the other riders see it. So, you know, throughout the week, there's the Burton Riders' Choice Award for $5,000. It's chosen by the competitors. They get to vote on who they think was having the most fun, who they liked watching the most. I think this kid could be a contender for that.
Just an improv knuckle huck there from the young 20-year-old. But how about the fact that, like, you just, for the viewers at home sometimes, you take for granted, because of this skill set, like how technical the rail section is. And if the metal edge of your board hits the metal that you're sliding on, gone. And you just saw that right there.
You know, it's so easy, too, when it's a simple feature almost, or whether you're going to gap from that to the down rail, to be thinking almost too far ahead that you kind of almost forget what you're doing, and, like, the most basic trick can happen. But Yo is so powerful that run 2, perfect.
Yeah, Seabird said he was probably smiling. You saw Azawa with a big, wide grin. Next up, young Jake Cantor, 16 years old, out of a pro snowboarding factory known as Silverthorne, Colorado.
Yeah, a lot of people in the industry are kind of looking at this kid as the potential future face of slopestyle snowboarding. He is incredibly talented, young, hungry, driven. This kid is the real deal.
He has my vote already.
Oh, that kink just caught the edge of his board there, right on the nose.
Just saying, wait, what just happened? Again, cannot take for granted how technical and what the skill level is necessary on this rail section. I was just psyched on his bibsties.
Yeah.
Over the shoulder.
Tarzan.
The Tarzan. I was like, all right, I'm here for it.
Yeah, give us some insider info on the Tarzan. Have you ever done it?
Of course, anybody that has, who's standing as tall as I am and Jake is, even though he's 16 and I'm not, it just helps you from flying around or slipping off your shoulders. And plus, it's a little something different, You got these bibs that are like,
is it restricting when you wear it over like a T-shirt or?
Well, it's just like one of those, sometimes
freedom of
I don't like the arm flaps kind of flapping up.
And it is steezy.
Yeah, it's just different.
Yeah.
As well. I didn't know that the bibs were size challenged. Thank you for sharing that. It's very vulnerable. What happened here?
So half cab on, and he kind of slid off on the inside of the stairs, and it caught that contact point.
That kink.
Right off his
nose.
nose.
And it bucked him right off.
And you can tell he's feeling it because, again, the snow is so firm and it is cold that even little slams you're going to feel because it's like landing on cement.
That wasn't a little one either, because it's one of those ones where you get chucked off kind of blind, and you just got to eat it. Eat it without getting to actually set up for it.
Oh,
yeah. There's some falls that you can prepare for. There are some that you can't do anything about.
You're in the air going like, oh, here it comes.
It's going to hurt.
Well, he's 16.
Yeah, he's good.
You know who's not 16? That bearded woolly mammoth guy that was sitting off in the corner. There's what it looks like at the top in the joy tent. Yuki Kadono.
Yep, here we go.
2 podiums here.
Talk about board control. This kid, the tricks he does regular and switch look so much the same because he has such good board control.
Yeah, it's incredible. This kid is responsible for one of my favorite US Open memories of all time. 2016, he came out of nowhere, shocked the entire snowboard world by dethroning Mark McMorris with back-to-back 1620s. Came down, and literally everybody tackled him. It was a madhouse.
You bring up something interesting when you say 1620s. This is not the traditional slopestyle course.
Correct.
Where riders are able to bring a version of their stock run during the season.
Yep.
How do you think it affects riders even at this level like Kadono's?
I mean, this course, the traditional slopestyle rider, right? The guys that have been doing it for a long time, they're going to have to adjust to this thing and get used to it, because in the day and age where it's 3 cheese wedges back to back to back, that's when you get the 14s, the 16s. I mean, heck, we're talking 1800s sometimes. This thing is non-linear. It's cross fall line, and it doesn't really cater to those huge spins. There's the cheese wedge, backside triple cork 1440. I don't know if you're going to see a lot of those on those first 2 jump features.
No, he kind of attacked that almost like a half pipe run. You saw he did frontside double cork 900, the cab double cork 900, which is switch, just mirroring it.
Yeah.
So that was pretty close to like a half pipe vibe in the middle of his slopestyle run.
Yeah.
He did have a little trouble up top on this first rail, but we don't need to see that because we want to watch this frontside double cork 900, and it's big. He really sent it up, landed well, and then did it switch. And then this is Sal's trick right here.
Front board 630, a la Chris Duffy. Duffy, remember that dude?
Do I remember that dude?
Chris Duffy.
Chris Duffy, the legend, still ripping.
Yes.
Living up in Whistler Blackcomb.
I mean,
legend.
Think about if Yuki had put something, down on that first rail. That jump line was crazy. That was insane.
Exactly, and the way that he rode those transition features was the correct way of really hitting it like a half pipe wall to give you that trajectory up. And, we talked about Yo and how smiling, happy he is. Yuki's really, I feel like, taking him under his wing because that's Yuki's personality too.
Yeah.
He's business, but he's smiling and he's, like he said, he's down at the bottom, like, next one, let's go, and already smiling and knowing what he has to do.
Yep.
You could see in those individual scores how that rail section affected him. The scores building as he made his way down the course.
Yeah, pretty interesting. We've only had one clean
One
run.
full pull.
One full pull by Carlos Garcia Knight.
As we see Max Parrot, 25 years of age from Canada. Literally, we watched him grow up.
Yep.
You know, it wasn't very long ago we were talking about him as a 16-year-old.
Not to mention, we watched him battle cancer and beat cancer, come back, and then right back to the top of the podium where he left.
Yep.
That, to me, is mind-blowing.
Truly.
It's the mark of greatness is really what it is. It's consistency, it's dedication, it's hard work, and it's natural talent. Max Parrot has all of the above in spades. 50-50, frontside 270, into the backside 3 on, back 1 off. Now coming in switch to that first jump feature. That right there is air awareness. I think he wanted to go double there. I truly do.
That went from bad to good in like a split second, and to make that decision upside down, you'll see it in the replay.
Yeah, so unfortunately going to be a throwaway run for Max Parrot, but he's going to put on a show right here. What does he have in store for you?
Ooh.
Even that was kind of a wild access compared to how he normally does that.
Yeah.
How sweet was that landing? Didn't even look like he left the air.
Yeah, when he does it the way he does it, it looks so easy. So easy.
And then you stand next to that jump that he just did it on. You're like, your neck's cranked up, looking how big that cheese wedge is. Like, wow.
Yeah, but just such an inspiring story in our culture. Diagnosed with cancer, takes a year off, beats it, comes back, and he's right back at the top of the podium.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
So there's that front blunt, same way, 270, just cruising, almost an extra practice run for him. And you kind of need that, especially in this flat light. You just want to keep that feeling of the course through it. And, you know, sometimes if you have a little bobble, you can still finish your run because each feature is scored separately. It might affect your overall impression and your flow, but each feature is judged separately.
We talk about that flat light. When you're in event mode, how much do you have to like go into feel, a lot more feel, as opposed to sight?
Oh, very much, because it just all looks the same. So you kind of have to have your legs loose, but almost be ready to snap off because you got to be ready. And there he is. He wanted the double, opens up, but still like, oh, okay, I got the rotation still going. Just swing my hips and board control, air awareness to the T right there. And even that wasn't the access he normally does it on, and puts it down like a normal day.
Do you guys have a color lens choice for flat light that you figured out as like the thing?
I like yellow.
You're yellow.
I'm a yellow guy.
I use like a kind of a mixture rainbow light, anything or blue.
Hybrid.
Yeah, hybrid.
Okay.
Can't go wrong with the hybrid.
I'm a yellow.
Yeah. The yellow kind of pops the shadows for me, and that's what does it.
It's still, flat light is just, will never be
It's hard no matter what.
Whoever I think it's like male pattern balding. If you actually figured out the perfect lens, like you just changed the world to be a billionaire. Where I got that comparison, I have no idea. Nicholas Laframboise.
Very strong rider right here, and he's been kind of coming. He's only 19 years old, but over the last 2 seasons, he's been inching his way up the rankings.
Shout out to my pronunciation, by the way.
That was amazing. The inflection.
Don't know where that came from, but I think someone's going to buy me a beer next time I'm in French Canada.
He's a goofy-footed rider.
You know, and really, what's better than being goofy-footed? Not a damn
The
thing.
best.
Woo! 270 on, back 2 off.
Flamboyance.
Switch backside 9, kind of struggling to get that last 360 around. Big old frontside 360 coming into the cannon box. Board slide 270, little frontside grab poke in there. And backside 1080 from Nicholas Laframboise.
I feel like there's some steez in there that he wanted to flex.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but you can tell, even though that wasn't his best run, kid's talented.
US Open.
This kid's got something going for him, and I'm really excited to see what comes from his second run.
I mean, how do you not when you're on the Canadian snowboard team and you're traveling with that Air Force?
Yeah, seriously. Max Perot, Seb Toots, Mark McMorris.
Darcy Sharp.
No
Darcy
pressure.
Sharp. Yeah.
No pressure, Grom.
Yeah, so
Even
that's
Tyler, too. I mean, they have everybody.
Yeah. There's that. Board slide 270.
You love to see a little extra poke.
Always.
A little extra flex to the grab to say, like, I'm here in control. This is where I want to be.
Yeah.
Remember me.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be, we're going to only 10 make finals, and that's tough with 2 runs. There's so many riders already that are looking to their second run that the pressure is going to be on.
It's going to make for a far more exciting round 2.
I think so too. I think it's going to make it more strategic as we get farther down that line.
I mean, we saw in the women's field, like, round 2 was exciting.
Yeah.
Fenn Moritz from Switzerland, 23 years of age. Going with the yellow.
Have some fun.
He runs yellow lenses and yellow jackets. T-Bird stepping it up.
He matches lens to jacket. That's next level. The regular footer. Let's see if he drops in regular or switch for his first of 2 runs. 50-50, back to regular. Front side 270. Ooh, there it is, double backside rodeo. Little hand down on that landing. Did it affect his speed? I think it did, but he still gets a switch backside 9 around.
How'd he muscle that around? I do not know.
Well, I feel like that's the beauty of those, you know, more area for the takeoff is if you do have less speed, you take off a little farther downhill. If you got more speed, keep it uphill a bit more.
Well, they also have almost a smaller side of the transition. If you need to just hit the transition, the main part of the quarter pipe is the 22, right? But then they have a smaller side, so if you need to hit the smaller side, you can. But I almost want to go as in the half pipe rider in me. It's like double alley Michael Chuck is what I was thinking, and you don't even see that very much in half pipe. And I love that because I don't think he'll be the only one that does that access.
Louis, I mean, call me crazy, man. I think you got game on this course. I think you could throw some stuff down.
Yeah, that whole metal with my half pipe edges, though, don't really fly too well.
I don't know, dude. I remember you in the streets.
Yeah, that was good times.
I remember you in the streets.
Dabbled a little bit in everything.
You did.
There's still time. We can get you up the hill. Just take 1 run.
Oof.
Late edition.
Totally would do it if I had my snowboarding stuff on. Dang.
So going for that front 14, landing a little too heavy on the toes and washing out.
You know what I'm enjoying about this course is the variance in snowboarding. And I don't know if that was intentional. I mean, the US Open is always trying to push the sport. There has been plenty of talk that, like, at this level, things have been a bit gymnastical, but there seems to be like I feel like we're watching snowboarding.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole new wave coming, and it is really exciting.
Ryan Stassel.
Going off of that, Sal, too, is that's what I love about the rail setup is there's not only options of rails, but there's options of lines to hit the rails.
Yeah.
So even though it's just a down rail, you can come off from another rail to that one, or you can hit it straight up. I mean, there's so many options within the options.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the most versatile, adaptable US Open slopestyle course I've ever seen.
Without doing
by
something
far.
super crazy. It's very basic, but many options. And there, right through the kink. I've seen that give people some trouble.
He made sure to get up over that kink. You saw the knees suck straight up.
That was a really technical top rail section. Cab to and to switch back to.
And he's going to hold that edge here.
That second jump. Yeah, could not quite put it down on that back 9. Or switch
back 9, yeah.
Yeah. And he's going to skip the final jump.
You know, with that many, 32 of the world's best snowboarders, normally I would say, you know, finish the course. It just hurt your overall impression. but 32 of the best riders, you need a full top to bottom if you want to make the top 10.
Absolutely. And yeah, you just heard it from Ryan Stossel. It's hard to see out there, is what he said. So that light, that flat light, is in fact a little bit of a problem for some of these riders.
And he's got my blue lenses that I was talking about on. And see, it's hard. No matter what lens, it's still hard. But let's look back at that rail section.
Yeah, switch back 2.
Just a little pre-spin on that. And I think that's what kind of caused him just to have that washout. He needed to have, more up in the air, come straight back down to the landing, and more oomph when you land rather than kind of skidding it off. The takeoff is going to cause you to skid on the landing.
And if you're watching at home and you're wondering why there's blue dye in the landings, it is 4 days like today, where it's just a little tougher to spot that landing than it is on a sunny day.
And think about it, like between the men's and women's event, we were still in full bluebird, not a cloud in the sky conditions. Most of the riders' practice took place in, like, you do your picture perfect day, and then this front moved in.
Yep.
Next up from Sweden, Jonas Bössiger, 24 years old. From Switzerland.
Yeah, he doesn't have that big marquee win, but he's certainly capable of it. Every year I see this kid ride at the US Open, and he is a player.
I mean, if anybody's watched the US Open, they know that so many people have made a name for themselves at the Burton US Open. This is an event where you can either start your legacy or cement your legacy.
I mean, think about the names: Yuki Kadono, Mark McMorris, Gerard. All of the best riders today have come through the US Open and made their mark here every winter.
And you don't even need to win. But if you show up and make a name for yourself amongst the best, even in that top 10, it changes the trajectory of your career.
Yep. And now, they got the Rookie of the Year award, the Toyota Rookie of the Year. That's a cool thing going, like Luke Winkelmann. That was his big start last year.
Tough days out there in these conditions. Louis, what kind of a difference, what was it like for you coming up in the Open? Because it was a slightly different format.
Well, for me, going to Stratton Mountain School, the U.S. Open was just everything, being Burton putting it on in Vermont. It was what I grew up watching and seeing the biggest names ever in snowboarding that have won that event, have competed in that event. So for me, it's just I'm hiking the pipe with Ross Powers, Danny Cass, all these people that I looked up to, and then slowly you just inch your way up, maybe from junior jam, and then that's when you had pre-qualifiers, and you just inching your way. Every year, it's just being a part of the event was next level. It wasn't even about the result. It was about just I competed at the U.S. Open.
Well, and what was so cool about it, I grew up in New Hampshire. We didn't have access to riders like that. That was the only time of the year that you could see the Ross Powers, the Danny Casses, Daniel Frank, Terry Hawkinson, because, we didn't live out west where all those guys lived. So I remember it as just being such a special time. It was circled on my calendar in my room. Every year it was like 38 days till I can go to Stratton.
And I'll say it throughout the whole week, but the Burton US Open is the most historical snowboarding contest, most legendary snowboard contest. Just being a part of it is being part of snowboarding history.
Yep.
Ooh, Torgeir Berggren from Norway. I like this kid's style.
He is incredible. I think he's one of the most naturally talented all-around snowboarders who's ever ridden a U.S. Open course. He is incredible to watch ride.
Also, I don't know what the name Torgeir means, but it just sounds like you walk into the room like, I'm Torgeir. I'm going to be gnarly. Now, watch me.
Ooh! Board slide to board slide pretzel. Switch board slide 270.
Oh!
To the moon!
Switch too.
That was insane. Yeah, this kid just has a pop that other people don't. He just goes 5 to 10 feet higher than everybody else.
That and the dope knock knee, like that almost. But like the dope knock knee Tom Curran knee style.
Oh, and then just a back 10. Just end it with a back 10.
And I love how his rotations have these little weird segments where he kind of rethrows the shoulder.
Yeah.
it's hard because you see glimpse of just what you're about to watch from top to bottom. When these riders are able to put it down, it's going to be something special. Like, he went huge on those transition features, not to mention this rail line up top.
Yeah, this kid just knows how to do it all. From half pipe to rails to jumps, pow. He can literally just adapt his riding to whatever terrain
This was crazy.
he's standing on top of.
He got stuck, but yet was so high that he was still able to get it around.
And somehow power wheelie out.
There's the backside 10, landing right in that sweet spot. Yeah, not the run Torgeir's looking for, but you're going to see him again. I guarantee you that. Rider tent is just
Popping.
Party up top.
Is there a DJ there? I mean, let's get it going. There you see the men and women who are deciding futures in the judges booth just next door to our broadcast area. And you see Torgeir getting some nice, strong score up top. And has him in the middle of the pack for now. But like again, we're going to see this in the high 80s.
Yeah, it's going to be jumping around all afternoon.
Next up from Russia, Vlad Kadorin.
Such a nice kid. I spent some time with him down in New Zealand a couple summers ago. Never met him. So polite, so friendly.
Very cool.
Obviously makes me a fan instantly from that.
22 years old, dropping in switch, cab 270.
Loving the dual color bindings, rocking the black-white.
It's like a la Robbie Sell back in the Neo Proto.
Did you just say Robbie Sell?
I did.
Woo!
Ooh, took off a little early, clipping the tail.
And that's that.
That's all she wrote for that run. Just goes to show, like, we watched Carlos's first run and we thought it's pretty conservative, but
Yeah.
that's the move. You just need to get a run top to bottom right now.
Well, you know, and you look at the, bottom of the pack here, the Judd Henkes, Lion Farrell, Stale Sonbeck, Mark McMorris, Sven Thorgren, last year's winner, Red Gerard. If this continues, does it make their strategy easier or harder? Are they going to send it, or are they just going to kind of try to get up into that top 10? Because we're cutting it from 32 to 10. That's a harsh cut. That's a third of the field. So
I think if you're on the fence about a trick, you go with the safer trick is what I would do.
Get to finals.
If you're riding well and you got your stuff automatic already, stick to the plan.
Yep.
And you saw there in Vlad's run, like, rhythm is everything. And once you get thrown off on this course, it's hard to come back.
Yeah, it's one thing to have a bobble on the last jump. That's up to the judges to decide. But up on the top of the course, it's all about building momentum, right? It's going feature to feature. And every time you land clean, you're getting more momentum, more confidence. If that's compromised up top, that affects the entire run.
Well, we'll see another one from Vlad. Next up, Tiarn Collins from New Zealand.
You know what? Just came off of a win at the Calgary World Cup. And this is somebody who's battled some injuries, got hurt right before the Olympics, unable to compete. That was devastating for him. But to come back after multiple injuries and win the World Cup, it's got to give him a lot of confidence coming in to this event today.
Yeah. All right, so the young New Zealander front 270 on, handling that kink at the bottom.
Between the feet, too.
Perfect. Backside 9. Was he going 10?
I
Kinda
just think,
looked like it.
sometimes they just whip it, and you got to realize, let it go up in the air and then kind of get the rotation going.
But you also talked about at the start how important that what that takeoff choice for you on those transitions was going to be.
Yep.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I mean, you have to attack it different. It's a half-pipe wall, even though it's off-angled a little bit. You have to air like you're doing a straight air and a half-pipe, and that'll give you the right air time and put you right on the landing where you want.
Well, and also talk about pop, because people say in the half-pipe you don't really want to pop. You want to have enough speed and just release from the wall, and you're gonna go huge. So
with these features, though, you can pop as much as you want because you're landing on the jump landing.
Yep.
So you don't have to worry about catching transition back in a half pipe. You can pop as much as you want to pop. and whatever it takes to kind of get it around. It's just weird because you go from almost being perpendicular to the wall to having to land on top of your board like a normal jump. That's the weird kind of thing about it.
Is going to be the score. So that'll put him into 10.
I'm a big fan of this rider dropping next, the young Canadian Mikey Cicerelli.
Ooh, I've seen him, speaking of transition, I've seen some crazy stuff on transition features from him in other slopestyle courses. So I am with you. I'm excited to watch this.
Mikey Cicerelli. I thought I told you. I'm pretty good at this.
He's kind of one of those kids, too. He needs that big marquee victory to really, like, place his flag on the summit of snowboarding, and it could come here at the US Open. I think he's more than due. So the goofy footer from Canada dropping in. Backside 270 on, 270 off. Into the cab 270 on to switch. And look at how high he's taking off. Switch back 9, and he just landed a bit too deep and in the back seat, but I think he went higher than anybody on that first jump today.
Seems like finding that mix of up and down.
Exactly, up and out.
Yeah, up and out.
Yep.
But if you're Mikey, you can ride that transition. He needs to move his line up higher towards the top of the hill on that quarter pipe, because you have the amplitude, you have the speed, you can take it further. So it's like when people hit an airbag and they're going off the corner, it's like, you can hit it higher, you travel a lot. So he's got to understand, you can hit it further up the mountain because you have so much more space.
Yeah, and I feel like he really, on that jump where things went wrong, I thought he even took the high line, but he needs to go a little further uphill. Look at how high he takes off. It was basically Mikey and Torgeir are the two riders I've seen hit it in that general area and go that big.
If I wanted to nitpick, he went down, his line was down the hill too much and then cranked it up at the last second. Kind of started a little bit steeper and then fade it as you're going up the wall, fade it down the hill.
Yep.
Because he had a pretty downhill line going into it, so he did hit higher, but he was setting himself up to travel more. A little bit more straighter line will help him on that.
For sure.
Almost like a hard bottom turn when he could have just let it go.
All right, next round, Mikey. It's all yours, brother.
Well, we are joined now by Clemens Millauer.
Hello, guys. Stoked to be here.
Thank
Happy
you
to
for
have
joining
you.
us,
Thanks
sir.
for coming in, buddy.
No worries.
Yeah.
It's going on. It's crazy. It's a little bit flat light out there,
Yeah.
but people are still like throwing down.
Are you hearing anything? Have you been talking to anyone coming through? Any
Yeah,
inside
it's like
info we
it
can get?
definitely with goals. It was like bluebird and really good weather,
Yeah.
and now people are kind of struggling to like spot the landings and get like the right line out of the quarter pipe.
Yeah.
It's really hard to like get the visibility.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they are still doing great, so I think it's pretty sick out there.
Yeah.
I like it.
How do you make adjustments on a day like today in your head when you've been practicing in the sun the whole time, and then next thing you know, a front like this moves in?
Oh yeah, that's a hard one. I think you just have to stay like really positive and don't don't get interrupted by clouds coming in or whatsoever. Just do your best, and everyone's like dealing with the same light, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not the only one. Get out of your head.
Yeah, get it out of your head. It's all gonna be good.
I like it. Well, we were talking about Carlos Garcia Knight earlier and how his run might have been conservative, but he is standing at the top of the podium heading into this final. Smart.
Strategic.
Strategic, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you take a look at his run right here, and everything just lined up for him perfectly. Switch board slide to front board, into that front side 270. But this right here has been the problem maker for a lot of these riders. Carlos handles it perfectly. Backside 9, coming into that second transitional jump feature, into the switch back 9. It's almost like calling a pipe run.
Exactly.
Back 9 to switch back 9, but it's a jump line. And then board slide, front 270, front side grab out. And then a big old flat spun front 10. I like to see that. I like that
That
quite
was
a
a really
bit.
sick run.
So yeah, that was pretty much the only, perfectly landed run that we've seen here today in run 1 of 2 in men's.
And it's SLS, so it's like you have to put down on each obstacle like a really cool trick, and that's what he did. Like he had a good level, top to bottom, and that's why he's sitting in first.
In your opinion, do you think they're, looking at how the jumps are different from years past, do you have riders in mind looking at this start list of who you think it caters to very well?
I think like Mark McMorris, for example, he's like he's well known for like putting it down, and he has like big quarter pipe tricks.
Yep.
And on jumps, of course, he's one of the best.
Yep.
So I think he's gonna be really good with this course, and especially in this weather, he doesn't feel like any bad visibility. He always brings it down.
Yeah. We thank you for joining us. Stick with us. We'll talk a little bit more. No, you're battling injury as well, but the fridge.
Oh, the fridge
is up next.
How can you not love the fridge?
The happiest man in snowboarding, perhaps. Fridtjof Tischendorf. If you talk about someone who just embodies what the spirit of snowboarding is about, the fun, it is the fridge.
Equal parts loose and calculated at any given time.
Kind of Haldor-esque, I would say.
Yeah. With the traditional backpack this year, going for a nice little checker stripe. I wonder how his runs affect backpack sales.
Ooh, I like that. Front board pretzel.
Oh!
Into the cab too. He caught his edge pretty hard right there.
That was severe.
Yeah, that toe side edge catch.
Yeah,
I mean,
not a nice
if
one.
you're a snowboarder, it's happened to you. It's happened to everybody.
Yeah,
it's
a classic move.
It's the reason why each one of us just got silent, because we've all had that experience.
You feel it. Oh, here.
Yeah, you feel with him, definitely.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty fast one, because if you gap this rail, you want to like carry on some speed, and if you hook your edge, it's not going to be the nicest one.
Yeah.
And you don't have any time to think. That one is just like, boom.
It comes,
blink of an eye.
Well, we see him on course, so nice to see that he's in one piece. I'm sure that our medical staff will take a look at him just to make sure.
I think he's fine, though.
I mean, he's a pretty resilient dude. He knows how to handle a slam. He's a tough kid.
Viking.
He's a Viking. He's from the Norseland.
He'll put down the next run for sure.
You spend a lot of time with Fridge in your travels?
Kinda, yeah. He's riding a lot at like Absolute Park in my home resort at home, and it's always good to do some runs with him. He's really a positive person.
Yeah. I like the crowd letting him know they appreciate that.
Yeah.
He's definitely one of the favorites of all the kids.
Yeah.
You saw him just saying, like, did you see that? Like, let's see it in real time.
There's that front board pretzel.
Over the stairs, I like.
Over the stairs.
Yeah, that's pretty gangster.
So now coming in switch, going cab 270.
I feel like if he put his backpack the other way around, it would have helped him maybe.
I like that.
Front pack.
Maybe get a pillow sponsor and put that thing
run the front pack.
Fridge is a fan favorite, that's for sure. Kids love him.
How can they not?
I mean,
he's like a kid in that he's 100% uninhibited, and he's going to show you all of who he is.
Ooh, I'm excited for this one.
Okay, here's a question for you. Who spins faster, Mons Roysland or Yuki Kadono? Because I have that in my notes. I think they're tied. This dude, Mons Roysland, can spin so fast.
But he can spin fast flat.
Yeah.
That's what, and Yuki can spin fast while doing triples and quad corks.
Yep, very good point. Very good point. I'm gonna add that to my notes.
Yes, that was my take on the question, but I love watching him ride.
Board slide to board slide 270. Backside 270 on that down bar.
And there's that speed that Clems was saying.
Backside 1080, not able to hold on that
right
heel edge.
there is the flat light difference, because he was riding fine, but you hit a little bump that looks like just white. You don't even see it, and it throw you off if you're not ready and you can't see it.
It's like vertigo.
Yeah,
100%.
Where literally suddenly you have no equilibrium, and you don't know what's going on, and you're on the ground.
And it happens fast. That's the thing. It's not a slow bump. It's like it'll toss you quick. You're just happy it doesn't toss you to an edge catch.
Yeah, and it's so sad because you feel like, I got it, and then it walks away.
Yep.
Yep, absolutely.
Or sprints real fast. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're done.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Sometimes it's almost like a safety and like, oh, I'm okay. It's over.
That backside 270, just catching the very end of that rail there.
This right here. Talk about fast spinning, T-Bird. That was it right there.
Seriously.
But you were talking again about like that up and out.
Yep.
You know, we saw him choosing down.
You got to find the balance.
And that's what helps you, though, land, is because you're falling down from the sky rather than shooting across, especially on that. Because you take a little bit of impact on those quarter to jump landings, but it can also help you really stomp it.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, this will be a fun one to watch and a fun one to call.
Yeah, this is going to be a little shot of adrenaline here.
Oh, yeah.
Rene Kangas. If you don't follow him on Instagram, do it now, just so you can see what like wild cowboy snowboarding looks like in real time. And he is of this generation of riders where it's a next level of board control.
Yeah.
And because of having so much control, this ability to improv at any time.
That's it. It's adaptability and spontaneity. If things don't necessarily go your way, he can tweak his run and switch it up after 3 full features. So there's the board slide to front board back to regular into the backside 270.
Such a good rail line.
Clemens, what do you like about Rene?
Everything.
Coming in, switch into the second transition feature.
Little
Really
short on
Not
that.
too bad, not too bad.
Yeah. Savable, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And at this, where we're at right now in the contest, you just get to the bottom on your feet.
Yeah, put one down, see where the score is, and reevaluate after run 2. Not enough airtime there.
You need all of your speed now after that last rest. You need to be coming in hot.
Hot, yep.
And the landings are so long, too, that you can take it deeper.
Yeah. Yeah, especially on that last jump. That landing goes on forever.
What the fuck?
That right there is 100% authenticity. So there's that.
I think I heard him say something about it being a little windy up top.
That's what I thought, too, looking at the flags. I mean, the difference is the flags you might see, oh, they're not a little wind, but these guys are flying through the air.
Yeah.
At ridiculous heights. So you're going to feel things that if you're standing there, you might not feel.
Yeah, that's true. And I feel like after he had this little bubble on the second side hit, he was kind of like giving up a little bit in his head. And then he couldn't complete as he wanted to have it. But
yeah, we were just talking about in a slopestyle course, it's feature by feature building
exactly,
momentum,
yeah.
right?
Exactly.
So if there's a little bobble, it just kind of stays back
It sticks in your head and it's not good, yeah. People are staying warm up in the tent. It's a really nice place. They have some heaters in there.
Yeah, what's the vibe up there?
It's really good, yeah. And they have food and something to drink, and
nice.
It's just you relax before it's like time to send.
Nobody walks by you and says, "You're going down, man."
You're mine.
Hiroaki Kunitake.
Another young
Japan.
Japanese stud.
18 years old.
Watch out, he can spin really fast too.
There we go, I like that. Goofy footer dropping in. 50-50 frontside 270 into the back 450, 270 out.
Yo.
The most technical trick we've seen on that second rail island into the front 10.
Stomps it.
Somehow locks in that toe side. Yo, he chucked that back 450 so heavy.
Insane.
And still had the pop on the 270 out.
Switch flip slide, under flip out.
Quick goggle adjustment coming into the last money booter.
Well, friends.
Is it your new leader?
Not is it.
Yes.
By how much?
Yeah, that's what the question is, how much?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the crazy thing is a sunny day, you're like, oh, it was close. But right now, that was a hammer run. Just
Yeah.
he Flat light, he felt it real quick. Just that little degree difference, which was eating people up earlier. He was able to get that rotation really fast at the end.
You can't teach confidence.
Yeah.
And it's just so apparent in his riding.
At 18 years old.
Yeah, 18-year-old swag. Woo!
That was crazy top to bottom. Even the second rail feature with like the back 450 in, it's such a hard trick to actually hit the rail that perfect.
Yeah, that is unreal.
Yeah, it's a 9.1. That's fair enough.
That 270 out. And
Shout out
this,
to Kevin Jones.
how's this right here? Holds on. And that's the thing. You see it especially in half pipe, but the Japanese technique, their edging is the best in the world.
You look at Kazu, Yumu, the younger kids like Yo.
Watch the way he drifts out of this.
Whips that last little one.
Yeah.
Need the sound though. Whoop.
He just engages his edge and stops it.
Even here, you're like, uh-oh. Whoop.
That's crazy. Like,
Get the feet under. Just get the feet under.
he lands to edge.
A car.
What are you doing?
Wow.
Yeah, this is going to be a big score. 41.5 out of 60 just for the trick score alone.
Two excellent scores up at the top of the course. And yeah, we said it wasn't a matter of whether he was leader, but by how much. 73.5. I like the scale.
Me too.
The judges didn't get too excited.
Yeah.
And it reminds you of like what is still to come.
Yeah.
Or what, even second runs, there's so many riders that had just one little hiccup.
Well, next up from the Netherlands is Nick van der Velden. Another youngster at 19 years of age.
Opting with the clear
I was
lens.
just, I can't. Just the thought of clear lenses on a day-to-day, like, that gives me anxiety.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier, Clemens, what's your color choice on a flat light?
I prefer darker lenses with like higher contrast than rather having like a really bright lens. I don't know, but it's everyone likes it different, I would say.
Yeah.
We're saying no matter what, it's still hard.
It's still hard, yeah, exactly.
If there's one feature on this course that you think you could ride really well, what would it be?
I would say I'm really good at the first water pipe hit. I recently just learned like a front double 10 or kind of like front double 12, how you would call it in pipe.
Nice.
So I'm pretty stoked on this trick.
Yeah.
The other wall is pretty hard if you don't have like pipe background.
Yep.
It's really hard. It's a challenge for a lot of people. But I think it's doable, and it's like sick that we have it in this course because everyone needs to improve and needs to figure out a new trick, and that makes it like really exciting.
How tough is it for you dealing with injury, being here at the Open?
Yeah, it's definitely, it sucks a lot. But it's still like not a bad contest to hang. It's like being with the Burton crew, Burton House. It's a lot of friends here, and I'm just trying to support the other people, and it's still
I mean,
a really
I always
good
look
time.
at the US Open as a celebration more than a competition
Exactly.
every year.
That's what it is.
Yeah, there's a contest that happens, but all the stuff that happens when we're not snowboarding, it's just a big party.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And especially this year,
Yeah.
you know, when we're in this context of really honoring and celebrating the greatest snowboarder that ever lived in
totally.
Jake Burton.
Yep.
This is one that you didn't want to miss because you know it's going to be special.
I mean, it's special when you come down to the course and Jake and Donna both are there screaming like they love snowboarding, and it really comes out at this event. Like, they are stoked. Every rider, whether you're part of Burton or not, you're part of snowboarding.
Yeah. And every event, pipe, slopestyle, whether or not it's the semis or the finals, Jake Burton would be there at the bottom, high-fiving every rider, cheersing them, biggest smile on his face, you know, down in the restaurant at the bottom, buying people drinks and like just bathing and basking in still a Grom-like joy for the sport. He was a kid until the very end.
Yep. Incredible.
But we will look forward to another run
One of my
from Van der
faves.
Velden. But next up,
Luke
the Winkelmann. Too happy He's just too.
This
he's just
kid-
too happy.
Just
Like,
trying to lace, man.
yeah,
just trying to
out here,
lace.
just out here trying to lace, bro.
He had such an incredible run last year. 4th place here at the US Open. He won Rookie of the Year, went on to Red Bull Recharged, took home MVP, and recently Snowboarder Awards fan favorite for the year. So this kid is officially on the scene.
Yeah.
From
He is
Blowing
blowing
Rock, North Carolina.
Unbelievable. I recently got a chance to work on a little video edit with Luke, and we went to Blowing Rock, North Carolina, met his parents, rode his home mountain, Appalachia Ski Mountain, and just seeing where this kid comes from and the opportunities he's created for himself, you see why he's just so happy all the time and grateful for what he has.
Oh, that's
So
just too much
easy.
control.
Most technical rail line we've seen today, I think. To the backside 9.
There we go.
Yep.
Got his feet around. The cap 5. Then breaking up the jumps.
Oh! Dude, that was easy.
That was unreal.
Front
Here's the
12.
moneymaker. Front 10
Front 10.
tail.
Just came up short, right on the knuck.
And even with that blue dye, that knuckle just creeps up at you. And that one's tough because you're still spinning and all of a sudden your board stops spinning and you're crunching down.
Yeah, and he was not prepared for that. I thought like he had it, and then suddenly a click on the deck.
You can't speed check. Even slight little setup speed turn. You got to point it after that thing.
Well, and it just goes to show how steep the landing of that last jump is.
Oh, it's
He-
insane.
He fell at the knuckle and slid really fast on his hands and knees the entire way down.
He went so ham on the rail section.
This was insane.
Yeah, that was my favorite, I think.
Blunt slide 270 seatbelt. Insane.
It was right there, just honestly 2 feet.
If he went 2 feet further, he puts that down and he might be your new leader, because I do truly feel that was the best rail line we've seen
for sure.
today.
Like so clean, everything. Totally.
Either that or he just goes to the Kunitaki school of just grind out the toe side. But man, that was watching, that level of control and style in snowboarding is undeniable. You don't even have to be a snowboarder to look at that and be like, oh, that guy's playing with he has some other toys.
He's got more chess pieces than the other guy. Yeah, it's the language that, it's the international language of just fluidity, style, grace. I mean, Luke's got it all. He's such a good kid. And
Good family.
He's not bumming. He's going back up top. He's going to chill in the rider's tent.
Like
Reassess and lace.
Like Louis said, yeah, I was just out here trying to lace. That sometimes means you got to fail upwards.
T-Bird.
Yep.
This is one of your riders to watch out for.
Dusty Henrickson. This kid is on the come up. He is a really talented young snowboarder coming out of Mammoth Lakes, California.
Fresh 17-year-old Youth Olympics winner, slopestyle.
Yep.
Shout out to the pink beanie.
Another kid that is so nice and just genuine.
Yeah.
And is ridiculous snowboarder.
17 years old.
He can flow through any park.
Front lip pretzel into the cab double cork 900.
How was the slowdown out of that?
Insane.
So sick.
Into the
There we go. It's like a
frontside
half
double
pipe
cork
run.
9.
Oh my! I'm leaving. I'm taking my heads off and I'm leaving. Come on!
Double cork back to.
Oh!
Dude. Ladies and gentlemen, that is far and away your new leader. That run
Oh my
was
God!
ridiculous.
That was tapped.
You heard it from the beginning. T-Bird says, I really like this kid. He is one to watch.
Yep. Dusty, I owe you a high five, homeboy. Thank you for that. Making me look good here on this couch.
Oh my gosh, that was fun.
I honestly, I've called snowboard events for over a decade now. I don't know what to call his cannon box trick. That was insane. It's like a board slide back rodeo, which is theoretically impossible. I'm not quite sure.
It's like a board slide, backflip pretzel.
Yeah.
That's and he was
Wild.
the blindness on it.
Yeah.
And all this
The
talk
weight.
about flat light and lack of speed.
Yeah, why would you do it in these conditions? Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just made it look so easy.
There's that
Proper.
front 9
This
double.
Here it is.
Crazy. Switch forward, and then he goes the
Switch nose slide pretzel 630 cork. Sure, yeah, call it that. We'll settle on that. That was, I can quite honestly say, that's an NBD at the US Open. I've
Yeah.
never seen that trick go down on a rail.
And that's what the Burton US Open of Snowboarding Championships does. It gives you the opportunity to put the world on notice.
Exactly. We can legitimately say, Dusty Henrickson, welcome.
Wow, look at that trick score.
46.
Wow. Out of 60. 46.7 out of 60.
It's going to be in the 80s.
Yeah.
Kudos.
And I would say that the judges held back just a tad.
Yeah.
You know they wanted to go
Yep.
just a little bit higher.
Yeah.
That's one of the most memorable runs in the last 4 years
Yeah.
that I can remember.
That was incredible.
I was standing up with my headset off. I'm like, I have to leave.
Yeah,
I thought Sal was already
It's
out.
gone. I can't be a part of this anymore.
Ladies and gentlemen, we almost lost our host.
Well, you picked him, so you start off the interview with the pride of Mammoth Lakes, Dusty, on
it going?
headset.
Hey, Dusty, could you hear? This is T-Bird here, my man. Can you hear me hyping you up? You made me look real good in here.
Oh, I can hear you loud and clear. How we doing?
I'm doing great, my man. Take us through that run. How you feeling right now?
Pretty good, dude. I honestly thought the light was going to be way worse than it was. Practice was insane how fast it switched up, but glad I could stay on my feet.
What in the world is that trick on the cannon box? You got a name for that thing?
I don't really know. It's just like a switchboard slide pretzel flip thing.
Switchboard slide pretzel flip thing.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Me and Judd were talking about it last night and couldn't even figure it out, actually.
Dusty, this is Louis, and after sitting up there watching and you seeing some riders go down, did you change up your run or did you stick to the original plan?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wanted to go a little bigger on that last jump, but the light is still pretty weird, and I figured if I made it that far, I wasn't trying to blow it on the last hit, you know?
Well, Dusty, this is Sal Masekela, and I am just I'm blown away by your snowboarding, man. Welcome to the party. Can't wait for your next run.
Sweet. Thanks so much, dude.
Right on.
Yeah, buddy. Woo! So cool.
It wasn't as bad as I thought.
We're getting into how's that part? We are in the meat of the order now.
Oh, it's about to get.
That was the entrance into the next level. Darcy Sharp is one that we could call a favorite to win this thing all season long. The conversation has really been Darcy Sharp, Red Gerard, Brock Crouch.
Yep.
And they have this like healthy competition amongst all of them, where they're pushing each other, but they're also having a blast doing it.
Yeah.
And in turn, pushing the sport.
They all want to win, but if for some reason they can't, they want each other to win. They want their homies to win. You know, and Darcy's coming off X Games gold. Biggest win of his career, tons of momentum. I mean, this kid is equally adept at riding rails, riding transition, riding jumps, and he's following in the footsteps of Dusty there, not having issues with speed on that first back nine. Into the switch back nine, catching the knuckle, and that right there is called a jack in the box.
He was starting off so good with his rails. Back to 7th in this donkey rail is such a heavy one.
Yeah. Yeah, and that goes back to the margin of error on where you choose to take off on those quarter pipes, right? If you take off 2 feet uphill, you might come up a foot short.
Yeah.
And I want to see if I don't know if we'll see the replay, but he had his line and then at the last second cranked it up, and that's what changed the trajectory on that. You kind of need to set your line and then ride it through.
I mean, look at this though. Switch front lip pretzel.
See his line right there, perfect. Held his edge all the way through the lip, and it put him right over the knuckle to his feet. And then this right here, downhill, and then it's kind of cranked it up just a little bit at the last second.
He went a little rider's left.
And that's what kind of hurt him on that and didn't quite get over the knuckle.
Yep.
But you know, it's also kind of hard on this course because those 2 features are so tight together.
Yeah.
So if you have a lot of impact landing the first one, it's really hard to like set up and line up good for the second kind of side feature.
Absolutely.
The key is not to do as minimal edging as possible.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, if you're double edging, you better double edge really fast so you can get on your right edge and hold it.
Yep.
Flat base all day. Rookie Tobita from Japan, 20 years old. They're all these kids are like 18, 19, 20.
This is the true snowboarding factory right now across the board.
It really is.
I'll say it. I'm
really
still
is.
competitive. I see it every day, and I see the kids that aren't even on the team, and what's coming, it's a tidal wave.
Storm.
Yeah.
It is.
And it's great to see the older riders, you know, be they Canadian or Japanese or from the U.S., take the younger crew under their wing, to show them the way, right? It's not a selfish culture that we live in.
Bang.
They want to leave behind a next generation. Backside 900. He went absolutely huge on that. Into the switch back 9.
I wouldn't even know that access was crazy.
What? That was insane. That was like a butter on the cannon box right there. Into the front side 10, not quite able to put it down, reverting around.
Did you see the way he locked in?
Yeah, he said, I'm going to have the speed.
I will not come up short. Just a bit too deep.
But again, the board control on things that, I don't know if he's going to have the height to get it right. And he just gets it right to the feet.
At this level, you know, it's you get to see what it's like. Who has a real relationship with their snowboard? Like you have to have a relationship with your snowboard.
Yep.
That was a really good save, I would say.
Yeah.
Front one, switch.
Yeah.
Tail press, switch back one
And
out.
this was such a slow rotation. I thought he would go 7 and then whip.
Well, I went through all of them. I was like 7, 9.
And I mean,
10, okay.
oh, he's still going.
Yeah.
He landed in the literal sweet spot of that jump. That's exactly where you want to land. I think he just came down a little heavy on his tail.
Well, you could see from his individual trick scores, he was in mode for a score right now. And the second run is going to feel like a final.
Well, it's going to get pretty interesting starting right about now, I believe.
Oh, that guy.
Now it's showtime.
Now it's showtime.
We talk about how there's something about Mark McMorris and the way he can step up at this particular contest. It means that much to him. Let's take a look at the clinic he put on last year. This year purple, last year blue.
I like it. I'm liking the lavender. Lightens things up a little bit. Yeah, this is Mark's 3rd place run, right behind Sven Thorgren and Red Gerard. You know, really, Sal, what it comes down to is the difference between good and great. Consistency, you know, riding under pressure when it matters, when it counts. This is the dude you want to take the shot at the buzzer if he's on your team.
So deep.
There's that double crippler right before the final jump. And I remember calling this, and when it got here, there was no doubt in my mind he was going to put that down. This dude, when he builds that momentum and gains that confidence, there is nobody in a slopestyle run that is more lethal than Mark McMorris. He's the GOAT.
He absolutely is the GOAT. But there's something to be said now at the ripe old age of 26.
Right? Second oldest competitor here.
I can't believe I just said that. With this whole field of like 19 and 20-year-olds, 18-year-olds who are like, we love you, Mark, you're our hero, but we're also here to knock you out.
He almost created his own competition, you know? Kids like Red Gerard grew up looking at Mark and saying, I want to be that someday. Well, we're now in the position where they are on an equal playing field on many levels.
Oh, no. Damn, that was so close. I thought he had it, but then I feel like the flat light, you know, like he opened up a tiny bit too early and sat down. He's still going for it.
Switch board slide, underflip.
To flats.
To flat. Wow. Well, you know, going back to what we were talking about, there's 32 men. 10 move on to the finals on Friday. Mark, unfortunately, is going to throw this out. He's only going to get one more run to get up into that top 10. He's going to make the top 10. That's when he gets it done. When his feet are to the flames. on a second run of a 2-run semifinal, that's when Mark McMorris is the most deadly.
So you're saying no way Mark has a shocker in his second run?
I think he's going to put it down.
This right here should have been a land. It's just that flat light. You know, you have the blue dye, but still he landed between them, and you might not be looking and spotting that part because it was right there. It just came up a little quick on him, and then that
was insane. I mean, he sent that thing 50 plus feet, almost to where the dye runs out.
So another run coming his way, 4-time Burton US
An old soul, Mark McMorris.
4 times he's won this event.
Yeah.
4 US Open wins, looking for a 5th.
Yeah, he is a boss.
He's a beast.
Oh, man. This guy, Brock Crouch, talk about a story. I mean, think about, you know, what his life has been like, what he's come back from.
Yep.
We talked about Max Parrot. I mean, think about what Brock's beating all of the odds injury-wise after that avalanche 2 years ago now.
Yep.
And now to be, like, in the top of the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, he came back stronger than ever. When I was talking to him, he said he's never taken anything in his life as seriously as the PT he had to do, not just to get back to where he was, but actually stronger than he's ever been.
And I think the focus, too.
Yeah.
It gave him a new sense of focus and appreciation for what opportunities are in front of him and where he can go with the sport.
Absolutely.
Second at Dew Tour, 4th at X Games. Also a ripping surfer. Somehow manages to save.
You know, and a lot of people are saying that courses like this are just catered to a guy like Brock because he's just spontaneous, he's explosive, and he's really, really powerful. And you're going to need all of that today on this course with this light.
Ooh, I like that, though, because we've seen so much frontside spinning off those transition features, and he opting for the backside spin.
Yep.
Which I like. It's different. He's definitely can ride some half pipe, so he has options on either wall.
That kid's got a method on him, too.
Pat Moore would be proud.
He's got a heck of a method on him.
The way he loads it up.
It's spring-loaded.
Is
yeah.
So cool.
Surprised he doesn't blow out of his bindings. He just cranks that thing out of nowhere.
This board just explodes off his feet in midair.
Let's see what went wrong here. I mean, this is feature 1, right? Switchboard slide, 50-50 back 3, super, super technical. You know, Clemens, we were talking earlier about building that momentum. That one stays with you.
Yeah, and it's always like if you have like one of your harder tricks on the first rail, it's so much pressure on you because it's always like you want to have a good start into your run.
Yeah.
And if it's like a big challenge to like clear the first rail, it's kind of a mental game.
Yep.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
It looked like on that back 7, Louis, he never really got to lock in and carve off of it.
Yeah, he didn't quite have that speed he wanted that he probably had in practice, and sometimes it's like, oh, I wasn't expecting to not have that speed because it's hard to make it up between those two features.
Yeah.
From the raging mountains of Hawaii.
Yes, Maui's finest, Lion Farrell.
Yes.
Another ripping surfer. I've had a chance to spend some time with him in the summer. He comes over and trains up at Laird Hamilton's pool, we carry dumbbells underwater with Laird basically trying to drown us. And Lion is a blast to train with. Also, he can get really weird on the slack line.
Really?
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me.
Freakish balance on the slack line.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me one bit.
He's another rider that has so much skill and is just looking for that breakout moment.
Yep, absolutely. On the U.S. snowboard team, going to try to make another Olympic run for it when that time comes around. Wow. Lion Farrell is sending it on these jumps. Frontside 720. Back 10 into the front 7, into the backside to the 70.
That's heavy.
That was Milton Burley.
Come on, Lion.
He's going cab. Oh! 14. Not quite able to put her down, but that is the first attempt at a 1440 we have seen today. And you can just feel the disappointment from Lion Farrell. That was a sick run that he was putting down.
Because that was one of those where it was right there. Like, you could almost have saved it. Just like, literally just a little bit over your toes too much.
Board slide 270 into the backside 10. It's almost like he was on a string and just stayed at his apex up there for like an extra second
He's
or two.
normally doing this trick to like back 12.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was supposed to go for like a 1080, but he like stomped it.
It's right, and it's almost like I thought he was going to hold on and like take the hand
But
drag
I
deduction,
feel like
but
he didn't want to hand drag too much and then kind of lost edge a bit and then was gone.
Yeah.
He needed to pull into the barrel.
Yeah.
Just tuck up. Easily, far easier said than done. Oh, second run. It's going to be the straight up Hunger Games. Oh, one of my favorites. Veteran Stale Sandbeck.
Yeah, this dude is absolutely incredible.
Another person who who do you want to look like in the air when you're snowboarding? Oh, I'd like to look like Stoke.
his grabs are so solid on everything, and he is an amazing half-pipe rider.
Yeah, he is. He's incredible. I mean, I remember the first time I saw Stale, I think he was 10 years old, 11 years old, and he was just so naturally talented. I mean, they say, what does Malcolm Gladwell say? 10,000 hours of practice makes you a master. This kid's got probably 35,000 hours strapped into a snowboard. He's got it dialed. Whoa. Cab double cork 9 hundo.
Front side.
I like that. Against the grain, front side 1080.
I like the double flip to the flat spin on the transition feature.
Yet Stale really has no set way of taking to a slopestyle course. He can cork, he can spin, flat, he can pretty much do it all. That right there, that's a good run.
Did what needed to be done. I think that puts him in the top 10.
Oh, yeah.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I think he's going top 3 actually.
Yeah, do you think, is that enough to take Dusty in your eyes? Because that was so smooth, but it was different. You know, that's what I like. You have options in this course.
The switch front side was
I think like Dusty,
dirty.
Yeah, I think Dusty took like a little higher risk on some tricks.
Yep.
So I think he maybe should take Dusty out because they were both same clean, but Dusty was like a little more gnarly.
Ooh, that was nice. And Stale, when he rides with confidence. And just watch this stomp right here. Boom.
Boom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bolt.
Kind of reminded me of like Seb Toots when he jumps, just bolts right over the 2 feet.
Yeah, you feel the ground shake when he lands a little bit.
And that was very smooth, soft landing.
Yeah, I think Dusty's was a little bit more of an unorthodox approach.
Yeah.
Had some different tricks in there.
Yeah.
And did take some risk, but it's a coin flip at this point. I mean,
Yeah, it's a close call, definitely.
I think they're both top 2 runs.
Ooh, big score trick. 44-8.
That switch 50-50.
That was nice. 78.
Okay. Yep, so second place bumps Hiroki Kunitake down to 3rd. Carlos Garcia Knight down to 4th.
You know, the judges have such a difficult job on, you know, especially with this course where there's different styles, different options.
Yeah.
But I thought they did a great job in that slotting.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
Judd Henkes from beautiful La Jolla, California.
He's also a pipe wizard.
Oh, I was saying he made a finals at the US Open when he was so young, going massive. An amazing surfer, amazing snowboarder, great skateboarder, so much talent.
Yeah.
And he's one of the riders that I said at the beginning is someone to watch in this course.
He has one of my favorite pipe hit tricks on the second one. I hope he will show us.
Cool. There goes Judd Henkes. Cab 270 on, 270 off. Into the front side 270. Over the flat to the down. Are you kidding me? Front side 720. Was that filmed in slow-mo or did it just happen in slow-mo?
How's that right there?
So sick.
Oh, front blunt 450.
Ow.
Just kissing the end of that thing. Into the switchback 12.
Wow.
He was yawning through that last one. Isn't he like,
Now it's a game.
I think we got a new leader almost.
I think so.
And Judd is the best because he's fun, he's laughing, but when it comes to a contest, he is serious. Look at his reaction. Yep, maybe get a little smile out of him, but he's like, this is what I expected to do.
like, oh,
I'm not surprised.
exactly.
Yep. There's that cab, 270 on, 270 off.
But
You see the live rank score down in the bottom right.
Gosh, this first feature, or the first transition feature, not the biggest trick as far as technicality, but massive. And just
Huge.
set him up perfectly to have the speed for the backside 1080 double cork.
Insane. This right here, that blew me away. Front blunt 450 into the switch back 12. I mean, that's going to be a huge score. Will it be, will he be your new leader? I don't know, but I
I'm
think
not quite sure
it's
anymore.
a top 3 score.
Yeah, it's a
I don't
top 3
know. I
score.
would say, though, that last jump is almost his easiest trick in his run, which is crazy.
That's crazy, but it's true, yeah.
And he even could have probably cleaned it up just a hair.
Yeah. 44.1 for his trick score.
76.9.
Oh yeah, third.
Okay,
Third place.
It's like, that's what I came to do.
so we're moving around that top 10, but since Dusty Henrickson locked down that top spot, nobody has been able to bump him out with 2 riders left to drop. And they are your top 2 finishers last year in slopestyle.
Sven Thorgren from Sweden had a great performance last year. Let's take a look at his 2019 run in the final.
Yeah, Sven is definitely known for spinning flat rather than going for the corked route.
He's another one like Stahle. When they grab and hold it. And he's got, like, his stale fish and roast beef grabs are textbook perfect.
You can see his board flexing because of the grab midair.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's a powerful snowboarder. And this was a big podium for him coming off an injury last year. There's the cab 12 into the frontside double cork 1080. And this is where Sven Thorgren makes his money, right here on the final jump of a slopestyle. Backside 1440.
And it's held all the way around.
Roast
There's
beef.
no fight, no slowdown. It's just perfect.
Yeah, he had quite a showing last year.
And you see almost the same setup, smile, energy as he had last year at this time. Just that joy to be competing at the Burton US Open.
Ooh, over the kink.
And that was switch,
Yeah,
which is pretty gnarly.
Yeah, that's new for Sven. That looks like a new trick that I've never seen him throw down in a slopestyle. Frontside double cork 10.
Stop.
Into the straight up traditional backside rodeo. I love that trick. Switch board slide 450. What's he got on the third and final jump? Backside 1080.
I'll just place this landing.
He looked
gear
like he
down.
just was sweeping off the front porch on that landing. Like, oh, there's just a little dust here.
It's so hard for me sometimes to call these transitions in slopestyle because you're like back rodeo. I love it. And me, I'm just Michael Chuck.
Michael
like
Chuck.
it's just
Exactly.
sick. You just like you don't see we have modified pipes. We don't see a lot of Michael Chucks off of those features to the jump landing. But when he does it so smooth.
Yeah, he does.
Well, if you were wondering earlier why the judges were leaving room, setting that scale low as we started to see full pulls, we've seen it in the last 4 or 5 runs.
Yep, absolutely. And now you're going to start to see a little bit more movement up in that top 10 heading into run 2 here in men's slopestyle semifinals.
8-7 for that front double cork.
That was too easy for him right there.
Yeah, I told you, he's just like, oh, there's just a little dust here.
And to grab stale?
You guys calling third place?
Third or fourth.
Third or fourth, all right.
Well, it's hard to say.
I know, this is because that first transition feature was the best we've seen on that first transition feature. And
Right.
it's like, okay, but somebody did this best trick. It's so hard.
Here we go. Scores are coming in.
He lit
43.2.
up that top part of the course.
Yes, he did.
But Dusty's 46.7 is the one to beat.
75.6.
Okay, fourth place.
Dude, we could be judges, actually.
There we go. I'm one and done. I'm done trying to guess, though, because I'm happy with that one.
It's so funny how when you get it right, you're like, yeah, we could be judges. And then you realize if you got put in that seat, you're like, actually, I want to go back to the other one. The red man.
That's the
Reggie.
newest tease.
I like it. Red Gerard. I think he's the steward of the future. If I could hand snowboarding to someone and say, like, okay, you have to carry this through the future, it's Red. And he really made a statement in this final run last year.
I mean, yeah, this is really where it all started. I mean, Red won the US Open last year, and then all of a sudden, you know, fast forward through the summer, Video Part Enjoy comes out, and it's some of the best backcountry snowboarding that's been done in the last 5 to 7 years.
Right.
So he's not pigeonholing himself as a contest rider. He wants to do it all. He's as competitive as they come. He's a really nice dude, and he is absolutely incredibly talented. It almost seems like he's the most hungry snowboarder alive right now.
To me, he has a similar type energy as, like, when you think back to Travis Rice.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I can compete, but I'm a snowboarder who I want to ride everything and find a joy in the wholeness of what snowboarding means.
I mean,
and have that kind of energy at 19.
Yeah.
You feel it when you talk to him.
Yep.
And he is just coming from Jackson Hole. He is filming for the Burton movie.
Yep.
And I think there's gonna be
Yeah.
something we can be really excited for.
I've been hearing some rumors about One World, and I heard
Yeah,
that
it's
Red is
gonna
on
be
a...
pretty insane.
Oh, and lest we mention, he's got himself an Olympic gold medal.
Yeah. Forgot that.
So there's
part.
that.
I know, there's so much to talk about that almost slips through, which is mind-boggling.
It's mind-boggling. So Red Gerard, can he go back-to-back?
So tighten up the binding. There you go, double cork 900. Coming in, switch to the second transition feature. Cab double 9, holding on. You can see he got hit with a little bump going into that.
He held on. That bobble's going to cost him, though. Coming in, switch backside. What?
Dude.
All right, so remember when I was talking about the riders who can spin faster than anyone on Earth? Just put Red at the top of that list. I think he just bumped Yuki and Mons down a little bit.
How did he recover that heavy?
That was unreal.
This was actually such a crazy run. Like, he had the Dusty Henrickson trick in there.
Yep.
Like the pretzel flip.
Yep.
He did like a switchback 270 pull and a switchback dribble 1440.
Yeah, and it's going to get interesting because he did have that one significant bobble, right? So how much is that going to?
I think he didn't have a hand track though.
No, he just had that one
He had
kind
a
of
weird nose press.
Yeah.
knuckle bobble, and the rest of his run was really solid. I mean, switch backside 270 pullback. That's a ridiculous trick to do in the middle of a slopestyle run.
This bumps right on his toe edge, I feel like threw him off just a little bit.
Right.
But he held on, came up just a tad short.
Okay.
But,
Little butt check.
I mean, that was
Right back into like, oh, here's an 8.1 to make me forget that just happened.
Yeah, right back into a
With the
nose
hardest-
slide back
yeah.
rodeo, basically.
and then just over the knuckle too, but he's able to put it down. Look at that. Wow.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. I don't want to throw out any presumptions.
I think he's still in even with it.
Top 10.
Yeah.
Oh, easily top 10. I'm wondering top 5 is where I'm wondering how hard the deduction is, because it's
That
only
overall,
one feature.
but that overall impression score has to be greatly affected by that bobble,
Yep.
Yeah.
which is why we don't want to be in that other room anymore, do we?
Which is why I'm just one and done. I'm not guessing.
Which is why you don't want to be in the room right now.
All right.
All right, so he's 6th place.
Yeah,
He's in that.
I was close. I said top 5.
Yeah,
Perfect.
totally.
Just
You
hard.
called
We
it.
just wanted to know about the deduction, but that overall impression, even though it's not your whole score, it's so strong.
Yeah.
Well, there you see it. Dusty Henrickson in first, but this second run situation is going to be crazy. Clemens, thank you for joining us, man.
Thank you, guys.
With your expert
Thank you.
analysis. Louis,
Thank you,
to be
guys.
continued, sir. We're going to get joined by Tina and Zoe, and we'll be right back with more from the Burton US Open Snowboarding Championships 2020 in celebration of the legend, Jake Burton.
Three locations, 3 disciplines, and some of the best snowboarders.
To have an experience like this together is like magical. Like I'm the luckiest person in the world, really.
Mark and Craig explore the evolution of snowboarding in this series with Eero Eitala, Travis Rice, and a bunch of young guns. Brothers McMorris. Now available on Red Bull TV.
Dive into the world of Red Bull TV, your daily source for action sports, music, and entertainment. Download the Red Bull TV app for free and sign in to watch all of our content offline. Get the Red Bull TV app now.
When focus, confidence, and perseverance triumph over all obstacles. Peace, an Element audiovisual project, now available on Red Bull TV.
Welcome back. It is semifinals day live from Vail, Colorado at the Burton US Open Snowboarding Championships. We are here at the legendary event. Slopestyle is on fire. Trying to recover from those first runs. Joined now by Tina Dixon and Zoe Sadowski-Sanat. Congratulations on your qualifying today.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm super stoked.
You guys had the benefit of the lights, sunshiny day. What's it like for you when you watch these competitors, the men having to like switch it up instantly as this front comes in?
Yeah, the guys got super unlucky. We had such good weather this morning. It was sunny and no wind whatsoever. And then it just came in this afternoon. So, yeah.
Your work's already done. Now you get to sit back and hang out with us.
Yep.
Would you like to take a look at your run from earlier?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's do it.
I haven't really seen it yet.
And let you take us through it. There we see it. It's almost like a different place.
Yeah.
It's
So
crazy
sunny.
that was only a couple hours ago. How was the course running speed-wise? I heard it was pretty fast this morning.
Yeah, it was absolutely perfect this morning. Like, the last couple of days, we haven't had the best weather. Like, yeah. Yeah, from practice, 2 days, the 2 days of practice, it was real windy and snowy, so we didn't really get to have as much practice on the course as we wanted, and then we showed up today and just everything was perfect. We got it real good.
You absolutely launched off that cannon.
Oh yeah, the Wildcat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite feature on the slopestyle course out of all of them?
My favorite feature would either be like the first quarter or the second quarter, just because we don't really get to hit those in slopestyle, and like having it in a slopestyle course is pretty sick.
I like that attitude that she's like, no, those are my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm going to embrace this course.
Yeah, because those are the ones.
These features.
Those are the ones that most of the guys and gals who are having trouble with the course are struggling on those too.
Yep, exactly. And you haven't done a lot of contests this year, so I was really excited to see you come back to the Open. You're defending that win. What's it like for you to come back here as the defending champion?
Yeah, it's super exciting to be back, especially after last year winning it. Yeah, I haven't really done too many comps this season. I just did X Games and then Dew Tour, and didn't do as well as I'd hoped. So coming into this one, I don't know, I wanted to put a run down in qualies and then build into finals.
Well, I like that, build.
Yeah.
Momentum.
Exactly.
Not a bad way to start the building.
Yeah.
It was tough competition throughout slopestyle. Anna Gasser, of course, was in the mix. We'll take a look at her run as well. Anna and Haley.
Yep, Haley Langland, she was riding incredibly well. Here you're looking at Anna Gasser. Check this out. Front side double cork 900 on that final jump. And there is Haley Langland right there.
What are you talking about?
I watched that from inside that room.
Wow.
And I told the guys that were in the room with me, it looked like she just jumped out of a building.
Yeah, she went huge.
That was gigantic.
Well,
that was
when
a
you only
huge
weigh
Cap
50
7.
pounds.
Well, and then she came through too, right? She was sitting outside of that top 6 and then really had to come through there at the end. And she did. She cleaned it all up, and she'll be in the finals.
The pride of San Clemente.
That's right.
Zoe, thank you so much for joining us. We wish you the best moving forward
Thank you.
in the final. Enjoy the rest of your day. And, man, I'm ready for run 2. What are your predictions for run 2?
I don't know. Like, I feel like it's been pretty hectic so far. Not many of the boys landed, and a lot of people got worked on that first feature.
Yep.
I just hope the light comes through and that the boys can send it. So, yeah.
You know, and I also think Dusty Henrickson had that run, and once someone lands a run, it kind of just reiterates, right? Like, I've been to enough contests to where, like, the first runs weren't that great, and then the second run, someone lands, and you're like, well, now it's on.
It, like, snowballs.
Yeah, it builds
right?
up that confidence, knowing, all right, yeah, we can do this.
What's it like, Zoe, when it has been challenging, and then you go after the person who actually is the first person to land a solid run?
Yeah, that's really challenging. Like, it really motivates you to do your best run, because usually coming in after practice, like if you haven't had a good practice and everyone else didn't really have a good practice, your like expectations are really low for what you're going to do in qualies, like for your first run. But as soon as someone lands that good run, it just like sets you up. Like it, I don't know, just inspires you, I guess.
Yeah, I imagine it takes you out of your head a little bit, and you're like, okay,
yeah,
this is what I know how to do.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, even without all the practice, like you can do it.
As far as riders that are outside of that top 10 right now, there are a bunch that, you know, you would expect to be in the final. Who do you think steps up?
Mark McMorris.
Okay.
I think Mark is just gonna. It's for all the marbles now, and he wants another win. He's won this event 4 times. Knowing Mark, as we all do, he wants 5, he wants 6, he wants 7. He wants to win as many U.S. Open slopestyles as possible. So I think he's feeling the heat, but that's going to force him to ride at a different level.
And that's what he always does.
Yep.
All right, well, we're going to take a look at some of those qualifying runs. Thank you again, Zoe.
Thanks for having me.
We are into it for run 2. How about we take a look? Are we going to go to Darcy's run right now? We're going to Dusty's run.
Yeah,
look at Dusty's run.
This kid, man, he came out swinging.
Mammoth Lakes, you called it. You're like, hey, I don't want to be too confident, but I think Dusty's going to do it here.
And Tina, this is kind of what you were talking about, right? It's as soon as Dusty landed, then the other riders started putting some runs down.
Yeah, and you know, Dusty, I was introduced to him just in January at the Locks Open, and he qualified first at that Locks Open, and he was inventing his own new tricks, and he even said right here on this feature, it's like, oh, it was he didn't really have a name for it.
Yeah, he's just doing what he does, what he thinks looks cool, and it's crazy to see him just come up with this stuff on the fly.
And that's one of the beautiful things about snowboarding, right? Is like a lot of what the progress is being able to see the trick first,
yes,
and actually feel like, oh, I can do that thing. And when it comes to you that you visually have done it in your mind, going for it.
Yeah.
Kyle Mack, one of those riders, with full capability of doing just that.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not in the top 10 right now. Kyle is one of the best slopestyle riders in the world. And let's see if he can put one down here. Coming into the second rail island. Nose slide, tail slide to fakie. And this is where a lot of riders had some trouble. Switch back 9 from Kyle Mack right there.
So he stays on there and then combines it with a front side 720, a stylish.
Front blunt same way, coming into this final feature. Looks like he's setting up for backside. There it is, the back double cork 1080 Japan. That is the signature Kyle Mack move. So, run 2, rider 1 puts one down.
Run 2, rider 1 had no choice.
That's right. He had no choice, and he came through. Will it be enough to not only put him in the top 10, but keep him in the top 10? Yeah, he's psyched.
There was so much good snowboarding in this run.
Yeah, I think this was one of the more technical rail lines that we've seen. Nose slide to tail slide to fakie.
And then this switch backside 900, he holds on to that. And that was, I mean, we've seen it. That's the feature that's really been giving everyone so many problems. And then finishes it up, lands it a little high on the landing there, but it's top to bottom. And, it's just in this semifinals with what the conditions are doing, going top to bottom is huge.
Yep, it totally is.
And the technicality was there. You imagine on feature 6, he lands 2 feet down, he gets a 1.5 more.
Absolutely.
62.8 for Kyle Mack, a huge improvement.
All right, 62.8. That'll put him in 8th place. But we got 31 riders left to drop.
That's going to be a tough dance. Is that the fridge on the bike?
He's keeping it warm, keeping it loose.
Oh, look at that. Happiness zone up top. Oh, it's going to be a long next 40 minutes or so for Kyle Mack as Sebe de Buc.
Yeah, Sebe is one of my favorite riders to watch. Like, this kid is just, not only is he one of my favorite riders to watch, he's one of my favorite humans to hang out with. He's just got such a good outlook. He doesn't take things too seriously, yet he is seriously talented at snowboarding. So it makes him really, really fun to watch. Cab 270 there, coming in switch to jump number 1. Into the switchback 9. That's where he went down on run 1.
So it looks like already riders are figuring out the timing on that, and then that double crippler.
Louis is somewhere losing his mind right now for that double crippler.
Oh, yeah. So front blunt 630 into the backside 1080. That's a really good run for Sebe de Buc. That's a top 10 run.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Goes straight back into that Kyle Mack conversation. Excuse me.
Yeah, Kyle currently sitting in 8th place right now.
And after that last cannon feature, you saw just point it.
Yeah.
There was no edging at all.
Yep.
Just like I'm aiming for this bottom jump.
If there was a, biography written about Sebe de Buc, it very well might be titled Point It. That's just his general ideology when it comes to most things, whether he's snowboarding or not.
It's a good way to look at life.
Absolutely.
Like it's in general.
Don't
Just get up
look
in the
back.
morning, brush your teeth, get ready for work. What are you going to do today? I'm going to point it.
I'm surprised that double crippler only got a 6.5.
Yeah.
Because it was just massive.
It was huge.
Bringing that one all the way back out with the 630 melon grab.
And then rounds it out with that backside double cork 1080.
And there's that second dip.
But
And
two
that
runs.
was about as good as you can do a double
Yeah.
cork back 10. That was a thing of beauty.
That second dip literally just like starts over again.
Yeah.
Starting to turn it on, DC.
Judges taking all of the time necessary to do their best to get it right. Overall impression is going to be the thing.
71.7.
Wow.
That is a massive improvement up into 6th place.
Just like that.
Unfortunately, that is going to knock out.
Yeah, that's how quick things can change. I think this is going to be, usually you think of semifinals, you don't think of that much stress. I think it's going to get a little stressful.
Well, we just said goodbye to Rinne.
Yeah, exactly. And when you're talking 32 riders cut down to 10, it's a third of the field.
Yeah, and what's interesting is the highest score is only an 80.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of room still left in the scoring.
So CGK, Carlos Garcia Knight in that 8th spot, but you know with the number of riders left, he's like, I got no choice.
And how long he was in first place for the majority of run one.
The
And now he's in 8th.
Yeah, the first clean run that we saw, and that held on for a while.
Yeah. Frontside 270, gapping over the flat to the down. And he takes a really high line on that backside 900. I think this is going to be the switchback 9. Puts that down. I think that hand drag was unintentional. That was impact, not intention. Woo. Board slide 630 with a little cork in there. And a front side 12 reverts it around. That was Carlos Garcia Knight saying, I am not going to stay in 8th place if there's anything I can do about it. I'm going to get up into that top 3.
How much do you think he's going to get dinged for that revert?
It's going to affect him. Yeah,
so.
Absolutely.
That's going to be a tough one to overcome for sure. But, man, what a run.
That was a great run.
That was an incredible run from Carlos Garcia Knight. And currently he's sitting in 8th place. That is not where you want to be in the second and final runs of Slopestyle Semifinals. Switch board slide to front board.
Yeah, that front board got away from him.
This is where I started thinking that, okay, he's stepping it up. He's not going to keep the same run as his first one.
So goes front side 1260 on that. He almost fell backwards too and just tried to save that, a revert out.
It also reminds you that like that top section of the course, the rail section, just how important it is to be between the bindings and be committed as can be, because it's going to make a difference in your scores.
Yeah, 2 is what he scored on that, a 2.
Yeah. Well, and what's cool about the SLS is every single feature, rail, jump, quarter pipe, whatever it is, all 6 are scored 0 to 10.
Yep.
Well, let's take a look at Mr. Ozawa. First run, top part of the section. And the first 3 riders that we saw, and he right off the bat.
Well, what was surprising to me is it didn't look like Yo was even really taking a risk. He was just trying to get through the first rail section, and he slipped out on his heel edge.
Metal on metal is not a party you want to be at.
That's a slippery slope, quite literally.
So, Mr. Yo Ozawa, he came down with a smile. He was like, no big deal. I do this in my sleep.
Yep.
And now we'll see what the 20-year-old has got for us, looking to make it into this 2020 final.
That's what he was going for. He was transferring board slide to board slide. And then the first rider we've seen hit that Red Bull wall ride, and here we go. Double cork front side 9, lands flat but still powers through.
Switch backside 540.
Wow. Board slide 630.
And then rounds it up with the backside 1080.
The one thing I saw was the first transition jump feature. Was that enough to keep him out of the top 10?
Well, I'm curious to see how that top feature is going to score, because it was so different, right, than what we've seen. And then he did have just a slight mistake on that first transition feature, and then only a switch backside 5 on that second transition feature.
Yep.
So that's going to hurt him. But here's that top feature with that 5.5 is what he scored on that.
And then front 270 wall ride right there. Super innovative, scored a 6.1 in the live rank. And then the old tail slide 630. Basically, he's like, I'm going to do a frontside 7.
Yeah.
And there's just going to be a rail in my way.
That's exactly, yeah, that's the best way to describe it.
I'll just
yeah.
deal with it.
I like that description.
Kid is so talented, so psyched. I love watching this kid snowboard. He's exciting.
He's exciting, and he's clearly having all of the fun.
And how fun is it to say his name? Just yo.
Yo.
He walks into a room and everyone literally just starts screaming yo.
Oh boy. Thoughts?
It's going to be really close.
It's going to be close.
To that top 10. It's,
Yeah.
ugh.
Think he's getting in?
Well, at this point, possibly the problem is staying in. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's it, right? I mean, right now he's sitting in 31st place, so it will definitely be a huge improvement. The question is how much. And then, you know, that goes back to the, I mean, 32 riders cut down to 10. That is just such a thin margin.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a little bit over a 30% chance.
Yeah.
Like, there's a chance.
Yeah. And if you're
Just
in the,
not a lot.
If I'm a rider in the top 10 right now, outside of Dusty Henrickson, I'm still nervous. I don't know if anybody is safe in this second final run.
No, because the scores aren't high.
The stoke is high in the rider tent. All right, here we go.
You're right, that 900, that third feature.
That was the one.
Yep.
So a 56.3. That'll do it. That's going to bump him
Ooh,
up.
right on the
Yes.
bubble. So Yuki Kadono is now out of that top 10, bumped out by the next generation of Japanese superstar,
It's
Yo.
gonna sound horrible, but that's not going to last.
10th place is tough right now.
That's so tough with this field. Would require like full breakdown, but incredible effort, and it just shows even with the hand down, etc. Like the riding was undeniable. All right, so Yuki Kadono, who was sitting in that 10th spot, now has some work to do. And it's his countrymen.
It is.
These guys are friends.
But he was doing some big combinations on those bottom two features.
Yuki Kadono also, I mean, this kid just has the jump and rail balance figured out. It's technicality and execution in both disciplines. Front side 900 right there from Yuki Kadono. And then going cab double cork 9.
Falling out of the sky casually.
Board slide 630, or I'm sorry, front board 630 seems to be the trick of the day here. Off that cannon box into the double cork backside 1080. That right there makes me think he's going to be back up in that top 10.
Yeah.
We're now going to have to say goodbye to the good homie Yo. But let's take a look at the replay. I mean, look at how psyched Yo is for him.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity for him to get back up into that top 10.
Cool to see the camaraderie. It's like, it's almost like every US Open is almost like an NBA All-Star game.
Right.
They're competitive, but they're cheering each other on. They're trying to, they're rooting for each other while trying to win themselves.
That's a great analogy because it is that event that is about the wholeness of this sport. This is the biggest celebration of the essence of what snowboarding is. And Kadono stepped up to the plate heavy.
There's that switch backside 270 on, 270 off. And keep an eye on those live ranks. I mean, that right there, all those get tallied together to equal the trick score. Out of 60, the other 40% is overall impression.
And he was smart here, doing just the 1080. You know, he's like, I just got to get in there. I'm going to do something I know I can absolutely land.
Trick score massive, 43.7. That's a good sign for sure for Yuki.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
77.
Look at that.
He's in. Gonna bump him way up. That'll put him up into the top
From
three.
11th into 3rd.
So what that does
And that's exactly what he wanted to do. Breathe a sigh.
Exactly. Top 3 for Yuki Kadono.
That should keep him in the top 10. And now the pressure builds. Max Parrot in 20th place, who had a shocker in his first run.
Yeah, had trouble on that first transition feature.
50-50, frontside 270, back 3 on, back 1 off. That cab, double cork 9, and he just kind of smoked that knuckle there, just not quite enough speed or pop.
We talked about it in the first run, right? Like that choice of takeoff on those transition features is everything.
Everything.
You almost want to go up there and, you know, some sports they mark, like in mountain biking, for example, on some of their jumps, they'll actually mark where on the lip to take off to hit that landing sweet spot. And on those transition features, you almost kind of got to go like, I'm going to go right there. You have to be that calculated.
Just hit it with a little bit of spray paint.
A little pink.
Yeah.
Just come on, a little pink spray paint. Like, shh, nobody saw that. That's frustrating for sure. You know, that's the final. All these riders, the final of the U.S. Open. That's why you're here, not just a show up.
Yeah. But Max is one of those riders that, you know, knowing how competitive this guy is, it's only going to make him more lethal in the next event. He doesn't like to lose, let alone not make a finals. He's only going to come back stronger, and that's what the dude's all about.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's Max Parrot.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? I mean, the first contest back in this season, after battling cancer, he won. He won that big air, that air in style in China in December.
Glad to see your face out here this year, brother.
What an incredible story. To not only battle back, as we were talking about earlier with Louis, but to battle back and come back to
the top.
Level,
to the top.
Yeah.
Incredible.
With some 1620s.
Nicolas Laframboise.
Thank you.
My favorite name to say.
Again, beautiful.
Laframboise.
And he's another rider that's been really busy on the big air side of things.
Yeah.
Has had a couple podium finishes.
.50-50, front side 270. Into the backside 270 on, 270 off.
Drop it like you mean it.
Did you hear the noise that rail made? Just a switch back 9. Little bobble before that takeoff. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
It was right before he started accelerating up that transition. There was a little bobble on the toe edge. Currently sitting in 18th place. And he said, you know what?
I'm just going to go
I'm
for
going
it at the
for it.
bottom.
Yes, send it.
Yeah.
Well, it is good to know, at the very least, that the Canadian slopestyle scene will be left in very, very good hands. 19 years old, Nicolas Laframboise.
I want to see what happens to him.
His rail section was really strong. Backside 270 on, 270 off. Pretty much you're blind the entire time you're doing that trick, aside from just a split second in there. And here's the backside triple cork 1440.
And I've seen him land this. I mean, so many times. This is a trick that he can just do in his sleep. But I feel like after he had problems on that, you know, second transition feature.
Well, and also too, you know, the continuing story throughout the afternoon is this front that rolled in and just caused that flat light. We were talking to Clemens Millauer, Zoe Sadowski-Sanat, and they both said it literally the whole game changes.
Oh, yeah.
When those clouds come in.
Yeah.
Especially the fact that, you know, we can't reiterate enough, like they were practicing in sunlight.
Yeah.
Like most 90% of practice took place in bluebird ideal conditions. And but also, like Zoe said, everyone's got the same light, and you have to adjust accordingly. Moritz Thenen is outside of the mix right now, and he needs to have a run. What do you think he can do?
Well, he needs to land that rodeo, that double rodeo 900 that he does. And I've seen him land stuff like that on features similar, not maybe as poppy. So after that first attempt and having problems on it, this is the trick I'm talking about.
And he goes.
And there he gets it.
Double back rodeo.
So switch backside 900.
Ooh, I like that poke. I like that a lot.
And then a just beautiful slow spin.
Announcer's curve. I was about to say, he's linking one. This is going to get very interesting here.
Yeah, that double rodeo that he does, again, I've seen him do it on, there was a contest 2 weeks ago up in Calgary, and there was a feature like that, similar, and he was landing them no problem. Yeah. This one was just a little bit poppier, but he had no problems with it this time.
I like that sneaky 50-50 to 270.
Yeah. And watch this, tail slide 270. There's the moneymaker right there, front side 1080. I think that's going to be a really strong score for Moritz. It really does make it interesting when, you know, looking back to run one, you know, more than halfway through, I don't think we had a score higher than the low 60s.
No.
That just really changes the entire dynamic. Wow.
Oh, boy.
So we officially say bye to Kyle Mack.
Kyle Mack, we have some nice prizes for you at the door. And this is where, yeah, this is just straight up Hunger Games. If you're in that 8, 9, 10 spot, your district is in danger. As Ryan Stossel with a strong mustache.
Currently sitting in 24th place. Coming out of Anchorage, Alaska, represented the United States of America in 2014 at the Sochi Games. That's Slopestyle's debut in the Winter Olympics.
He's if I looked at this field, he's one of the veterans.
Absolutely.
He's a 2-time Olympian. He has a lot of contest experience.
Nice start. Gosh, Sal, way to just jinx the hell out of it.
Backside 7, bobbled a little bit, missed his grab. Looks like he got a little lost in the air.
But rail section was just deadly.
And that'll be it for Ryan Stossel. He's just going to have fun on the way down. And this is not the last you've seen of this kid. He's got staying power. Frontside 360 tuck knee.
And hands together for your UFC South team member, Ryan Stossel. Unfortunately, the PG off that right side hit.
So
yeah, so that will be it for Ryan Stossel. See what went wrong here. Here's the switch front 2 right through that kink. It's about as clean as you can do that trick. And then switch backside 270 on, 270 off. Really puts it in perspective, too, coming out of that rail section, how close this first jump feature is to the rails. You do not have a lot of time to get back on your feet.
It's literally like one little turn set up, but no.
And you're in it.
And you're in it.
Yep.
We'll say goodbye to another one and head back up to the top here. And our second runs in the men's slopestyle semis. Jonas Bösiger in that 25th spot, fully capable.
This kid, yeah, don't sleep on Jonas Bösiger. He is immensely talented.
He is, and he's almost due also. Like, he's been very busy. He does a lot of contests.
Switch back 2 on, 270 off. That is a ridiculous trick.
So frontside double cork 9. Into the cab 720.
And now it's starting to look like the trouble for a couple of these riders is on that first feature again, but it's not necessarily the light, maybe it's the speed. You're seeing a couple people come up short here and there. Sal, goes back to what you talked about, where we were talking about with Louis, where it's all about where you take off on that feature.
And it doesn't just affect that jump.
Yeah.
It literally changes the momentum of the entire run.
Absolutely.
Whatever it was, let's do.
So that was a great run for Jonas.
Yeah, I think aside from that first transition jump feature where he did come up a little bit short, it was a strong run. Switch backside 270 on, swinging it back around 270 to regular. Switch board slide under flip out.
It's crazy to say that was like one of the more conservative maneuvers on that feature.
That right now, the cannon box feature has been the standout feature for me. There's been some crazy stuff that has gone down on that box.
Pressure 630.
Trick of the day so far.
For sure.
I mean, we almost lost you. You almost left.
All right, trick score coming in is going to be at 38.9.
Pretty good trick score, 38.9.
Really weighting the overall impression score. 64.5. Like I said, it was close. It's a huge improvement, but it is just outside
the box.
So Jonas, again, solid.
For Mr. Bösiger, great performance. I've just been informed that Sean Fitzsimmons is taking a DNS. So we are going to move on to Torgeir Bergrim,
the king of the north.
I am Torgeir.
TV ready.
Give me everything. We saw all the signs in his first run that he can make this final.
Yeah, this kid kind of just shines in every aspect of snowboarding. He's really, really fun to watch. One of the most liked riders on the tour. I mean, everybody loves this guy. They love watching him ride. I'm sure up in the riders' tent, they're rooting for him. Big cab 5 on that first jump feature. Into the front side 900. Cab 270 on, 270 off. Going into that final jump. Backside 1080, puts it down. I think that Torgeir was like, I'm just going to put a run on my feet, get up in that top 10, and then if and when he makes the finals, he's going to send it.
Well, it's interesting. Sometimes, you know, semifinals, you're like, you just got to go all out. You have to do your hardest tricks.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily the case with this event. It's literally stay on your feet, get some points from your the rel features, and get to the bottom.
Well, and part of me thinks, too, on that first jump feature, right? He just did a cab 5. That's a trick where you have to pop. You're going to go really high in the air. You're probably going to clear the knuckle. So maybe he was saying, let me just get over this one and then kind of turn up the dial on the final, the remaining 3 features.
Talk about strategy. Like,
Smart.
From the entire top end of the course. He was
Yeah.
like, okay, it's going to be just difficult enough, but I'm not crazy.
But they were all big
Bangers.
tricks.
Yeah, I mean,
he went big on all of them.
Yeah. Look at that nose slide, pretzel score up top.
Yep.
This could bump him in. We'll have to see 69.5 for Torgier.
Yeah, that's going to do it. 8th place.
Now he's in that
now in 8th place,
8th spot.
bumping out Carlos.
CGK we say goodbye to. And how about Red Gerard? He's like, whoa, I'm really going to need the second run.
Absolutely.
The Russian,
Vlad
Kadono. Were you at Sochi, Tina? Remember that? Were you there for that first powder day when we first got there?
Yes.
And you were like, oh, this place is holding
yeah.
all time.
Amazing terrain here, yes.
Yeah, that mountain is crazy. Can Vlad do it? Frontside 900.
Oh.
Ooh.
Somehow or another sucks it up. The power of the squat on that knuckle for Vlad. Whoa! You heard him.
Are you kidding me? Board slide 630 out.
Oh. He held on to it, but had affected his speed on that last jump.
Good on Vlad, though, for hanging on that cannon box. That could have gone pretty bad.
You heard him in the air.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, relax, and somehow recover.
You know, he's had a pretty good season this year. He won the World Cup at Caesaralm, Italy. Like, came out and finished on top of the podium. I think he even surprised himself with that win. So he's had a pretty good year. So switch backside 9 right there.
Yeah, and that was the second jump feature for Vlad that he had a little bit of trouble on.
And how did he pull this off? Just keeps rotating, trying to get some speed, heading into this final jump.
He drifted pretty far right on that double cork back 10 as well.
You see him just scrubbing his nose there on the landing. Might have been able to save it. But a great performance.
So a 38.4. It's an improvement on run number 1.
From Vlad Kadono, but not enough.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing what he does in the future, though. He's got a bright future in snowboarding. He's a really talented snowboarder.
As we make our way back up to
And
the top.
we head to Queenstown, New Zealand, for John Collins, who gets extra points for the hood to bindings color coordination.
I like that.
If I'm a judge, my overall impression is going to be slightly affected.
So coming in switch, cab 270, powering through the kink at the bottom. Good rail line from Tiarn Collins.
Oh. Goes down on that first transition feature.
Yeah, I think he sent it a little bit too big and was still spinning when he hit.
You saw it from that windup as he was leaving.
Yep.
Just a little bit too much.
Switch back 9. Won't quite do it for Tiarn Collins, but I mean, I think, he's going to have a good old time.
There's nothing more beautiful than a gorgeous backside 180 or a gorgeous backside 3.
That's right.
I was talking earlier about this, how those transition features, they've really forced the riders almost to slow it down instead of doing, 1440s, and we're seeing 900s.
It is really
1080s,
cool, exactly.
And they've slowed it down.
Yeah, it forces competitive snowboarding to kind of go in a different direction.
They just look hard and intimidating.
Yeah.
Like, that's the last thing I'd want to see, like, going straight down a hill. Really? Shark knuckle quarter? Shark quarter knuckle?
What were you calling him last night?
I had a good one last night in the meeting.
Yeah.
It wasn't shark fin, it was like quarter shark or something. I don't know, it was better than that. We'll figure it out. Mikey Cicerelli from Canada. You said earlier that he's due. Like
He's due.
Mikey's one of those names.
Yep.
Who's well liked and celebrated. The abilities are there, but he's due to show it in a podium-like performance.
Yeah, and he's consistently always up in that kind of top 10 at the US Open. He's just looking for that big win. This could be the year. If Mikey can hold it together and put down the run he's capable of. Switch back 9 into the back 9. And you can see snow conditions are changing run to run. In the flat bottom, it's getting a little choppier, a little harder to hang on. I think he's going cab 12.
Oh! Sending it to the parking lot.
Ow, wow. My kneecaps both just went in opposite directions. He went so deep.
I mean, was he trying to get his parking validated down there? He almost sent it down to the parking
But you know
lot.
what? You made a good point. You could see that deterioration of snow in between the other sections, and it might have played into his head.
Absolutely.
Like, I might just need to point it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not always about the takeoff. Sometimes it's about the in-between. Because that's when you're thinking about the takeoffs, and if anything takes your mind off of that, it could affect what happens next. Yeah, there's that cab 12. He sent that thing.
He sent it out of view.
About as deep as you can safely send that jump.
And there are my knees. Pew, gone.
Yeah, he was still spinning.
Wow. That's too bad because he had a really, really nice run going.
He did. He will be back, though. Mikey Cicerelli will be back. Mark my words.
So 47.2, that's going to be a 15th place finish.
Well, as he gets some consolation from the homies, let's see where we are at here on our leaderboard on this gray day here in the semifinals.
Yeah, if it ended right now, that would be your top 10. But what's going to get interesting is the next slide when you see the riders that are currently not in that top 10, which is going to make it stressful for, 5 to 10, the people who are sitting in there right now. Rene Rinikongas, Luke Winkelmann, Lion Farrell, still to come.
Rookie Tabita.
Rookie Tabita. Darcy Sharp.
Mark McMorris.
Yeah, that's a big one. Brock Crouch, Mons Royslin, Jake Cantor even. Unfortunately, we didn't see Jake's second and final run, but yeah, there's still some heavy hitters to come.
All right, so let's run one. Let's take a look back to look forward, right? Let's take a look at some of those first runs that put us in this situation where you have these heavy hitters. The 4-time winner, Mark McMorris.
Going for that frontside double cork 900 and just washing out on that heel edge. Oh, I mean, those transitional features are just kind of murking some people.
And coming into the week, it was the conversation like, hey, this is going to be won or lost in these transitions.
And there's last year's US Open slopestyle champ Red Gerard catching the knuckle. Stale Sonbeck really handled those things super well. So did Judd Henkes, this kid right here. But really, what the ultimate story of the 2020 US Open men's and women's slopestyle is going to be about those two features.
Yeah,
and Judd scored a 9.4 on that 1080, and it's, if you look at the way he took off on it, so the transition features like this, and he spun backside, like the way he approached that is so unique and different. And a 9.4 is, I think it's our highest individual score that we've seen so far today.
Yeah, that is a great point. And even Louis was saying earlier, someone spinning backside off of that is going to get the love.
Absolutely. Yeah, the judges are going to reward you for that. Spinning against the transition will play in your favor, but it's more of a risk.
All right, well, we will see how these transition features continue to play here as we, again, are only taking 10 riders. The backpack
All right, Fridge.
Fridtjof Tischendorf. Perhaps the happiest man in snowboarding.
The Fridge.
If there was ever like a consistent Spirit of the Games award, you just give it to Fridge, right? But I mean, this guy. I mean, for all that personality, you forget about like the ridiculous amount of style and technical ability. He's incredible.
That's a really good point. Yeah, I mean, like for the fun-loving nature that this kid has, he is a powerful snowboarder.
All right, so he gets that backside 900.
Smart.
Switch frontside 540.
Maybe kind of taking a note out of Torgear's playbook, right? Just get up and over the knuckle, deal with the rest of the course as it comes at you.
Oh.
Caught the knuckle on that third and final jump, and that does not ever feel good.
So first run, catches it toe side.
Yep.
Second run, heel side. That's a day that you just want to like, let me just get to the jacuzzi, please.
Yeah.
Can I just, straight to the jacuzzi, please.
Ice bath, jacuzzi.
Yes.
Chill. I mean, in my opinion, though, if he had put that last trick down, I think we'd be seeing Fridge in the top 10.
I agree with you.
I think that was a top 10 run.
I'm with you.
Given the conditions today.
And I thought he was really smart on that first quarterpipe feature. He was like, like, okay, I'm just going to do what needs to be done.
Nice and easy, get up and over to the landing, put it down, and just continue on.
But crazy that like toe side in first run, heel side second. What's in the bag? What's in the bag? Kids are
I mean, regardless, you know, it's Fridge, and he's just so entertaining. He's such a fan favorite.
He always wins.
Yeah.
He does.
Like,
if you have the right mindset, you never lose.
Yeah, like he's always going to be a takeaway. There's always going to be clips of Fridge at any event because he's having the most fun at all times.
Yeah. All right, this is going to be interesting here.
The fact that Mons Roysland is in 30th position right now.
Yeah. Yeah, he's one of the most dominant and consistent slopestyle riders today. So to see him in 30th place in the second run of a 2-run semifinal is borderline shocking.
Yeah.
Backside 270. This is where things get very interesting. Backside 10 and a mirror image of the first run just kind of gets blown off to the rider's left side of the course.
So I wonder if you've practiced and practiced and practiced a 1080 and you're not getting it around, at what point do you decide, I think I should maybe just do a 720?
I think in this instance it's a mentality thing. It's Mons doesn't pull any punches. If he's dropping into a slopestyle course, he's going to try to put down the best run that he's capable of given the course and the conditions, and I think that's what happened there. And good on him
and
for
what he's been practicing.
Exactly.
You got to respect it. He's like, I'm falling on my shield here.
Yep.
We're going to enjoy his rails one more time here.
Yeah, really talented rail rider. Board slide to board slide, 270 out.
270 around.
Into that backside 270. And this is the back 10 right here. He loads up, unleashes that thing, and he literally lands on his heel edge. And it just takes him off the course. So that is a shocker. Mons Roysland not in the top 10, but a really good showing from the young Norwegian today.
5.2, not what Mons was looking for, but thanks coming out from Mons Roysland.
When we started here in run 2, Rene Kangas was in the top 10.
Yep.
That is presently not the case. Sitting in 16th. When asked who our favorites were, Rene was definitely one of mine.
Me too.
Clemens was in here and even said the same thing.
Yes.
Yep. He goes, what did he say? He goes, well, what's not to like about him?
Yeah. I said, what do you like about Rene? He said, everything.
Everything, yeah.
Everything.
I was watching earlier today, they had on redbull.com, they did Last Resort with Stan live from the US Open. He sits down to interview Rene. Rene grabs the microphone and just starts interviewing Stan.
As it should be.
Perfect.
Long overdue. Well done on you, Rene.
All right, can he make it up into the top 10? Front side double cork 900 from Rene Rinnekongas. Into the underflip tail grab.
Forever.
Front blunt, same way 270. This is what it's going to come down to here.
The backside 1260.
I think he's
somebody back in the dance, folks.
Wow.
It's like, did you save my seat for me? Sorry, I'm late.
Thank you, Rene. Putting it down. Bridge coming over and giving him some love.
And those two are like similar spirit animals. I mean, if you did a DNA analysis, you'd be like, okay, yeah, you definitely cut from the same cloth.
You're going to find some similarities there. So Rene Rinnekongas waiting for his score to come in. That's a contender for top 10. That was a really good run from Rene, but you could also tell that he was hitting the brakes a little bit. He was pumping the brakes on some of those transitional features. So board slide to switch front board.
I mean,
That was big. Well,
he came off a little bit early on his tail. He was just a little bit left of the rail in the air.
That thing is so tall, man.
But front side board slide 270 into the backside 1260 right there from Rene Rinnekongas. Let's see how he lands this one right here.
no hands down, not even a tap.
About as clean as you can do it.
All right,
I think he ripped his glove on his one of his thumbs from grabbing too good. Looked like he had an edge laceration. So it's not a matter of if, it's just what position, I think, right?
I think so. 36.1 for his trick score, 28.6 for the flow score.
Ooh.
It was that second feature.
It was, wasn't
He had
it?
a two.
Right,
Yep.
that's right.
That's what it was.
And that's why you can never, you forget, and
Hands together one more time for Rene
in most
Rinnekongas
events,
down there.
going back throughout history, that top rail section, it's almost an afterthought. Like, oh, it was cool that they did well on the rails, but here's where the meat is.
Absolutely.
That doesn't exist anymore, and you saw us all become victimized by that old thinking in sort of waving that off, but that was everything.
A rails equal to a jump, equal to a cannon box, a wall ride, whatever it may be. Here we got Hiroki Kunitake on course. Currently up in that top 10, had an incredible first run. A little squirrely on that front 10 there, but he holds it together. Backing that up with a backside 900. Into the switch board slide, under flip 7.
Oh, and then go switch frontside 1440 on that bottom.
This kid came to play. Wow.
Talk about control.
For the semifinals.
Insane run from Hiroki Kunitake.
That first run score of a 73.5 is what has him in 6th place.
And I think for him, you know, his score, maybe wanted to get a little higher really to secure his spot, but he definitely played around with some more difficulty on that one.
Yeah, definitely. He did not pull any punches on that. He's currently sitting in 6th place, but he just kind of laid claim, threw down and said, yeah, I'm going to try to qualify first here.
Really appreciate it out here. I know the athletes do as well. As we look at the replay here for Hiroki Kunitake, with that
backside 450.
So we got to watch what the score was for that, because that could really be the difference maker of what we just saw with Rene.
Exactly. It was very similar. Harder trick than what Rene did, but they landed pretty much in the exact same place. Yeah, I feel like if there's anything that's going to hurt him on this second run, it's going to be that second rail island, the backside 450.
How he got that last 180 around.
Wild.
Freakish.
Yes, Hiroki.
Direct score 36.3.
Currently in 6th place. It will not be enough.
Stay right where he is.
Yeah.
12 riders to go here in our semifinals at the 2020 Burton US Open Snowboarding Championships. And suddenly it's a blur.
Yeah.
And we are in the we're in the lower end of the hourglass.
I mean, yeah, if you're looking at, Hiroki Kunitake, there 4 riders, 4 riders are needed to bump him out. I can now count 5 riders that are not in that top 10 that probably should be.
He's not safe.
Niek van der Velden from the Netherlands.
Yeah, and don't count out wild cards like this dude right here. He might shake things up in that top 10 and make it even more interesting and even harder for a rider like Mark McMorris or Red Gerard to get up into that top 10.
And you always love that rider who's like, that's gonna.
He did back-to-back 7s, and you saw he landed, didn't make the transition, didn't make that landing on that front side 7.
Whoa!
To go for a switch backside 1260 on the bottom.
He's not calling it a run quite yet.
Nope.
He's giving the crowd what they came for, giving them their money's worth. Really good showing from Niek van der Velden today, though. This kid's impressive. He's got all the components. He's got everything he needs.
And again, only 19.
All right, so the replay here for Niek van der Velden.
Half cab on, 50-50, back 3 out. Board slide to switch frontside board slide.
Judges have been enjoying that, like 180 to 50-50 or switch 180 to 50-50s.
This was where he had problems. You see where he landed up high, only scoring a 2.0 on that. But take a look at the grab on this bottom, the switch backside, double cork 1260.
And that uncork on the second half of it is dirty.
Yeah.
And that score of the 8 at the bottom, that's what makes this event so cool. I mean, it's like, can't emphasize it enough. Like, every single jump feature has the exact same.
Yep. Yeah, so really what it does is the person who wins the US Open is riding all the rail features just as well as they're riding the jump features. You can't have a better section than someone else. It's just got to be, it's blanket statement. Whoever rides this course top to bottom the best is going to be the winner.
Well, the tone setter in our first runs, the man who said, hey, let me just take this up a notch. Representing Blowing Rock, North Carolina, Luke Winkelmann. But he's somehow in 18th right now. But if there's one, you talked about a spoiler, someone who could come in and make it interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Luke.
100%.
Well, he finished up 4th last year at this event.
Half cab, 50-50, back 3. Kid is so technical on the rails. I actually just ran into Luke in Minnesota on a street trip. Pretty much flew from a street trip right to the US Open slopestyle.
From Minnesota.
From Minnesota. This is where it went bad.
Oh,
no! Caught his heel edge in the landing.
Had it. Was going to the dance.
I saw it.
Was going to the dance. That's a heartbreaker.
That really is. Luke Winkelmann, one of my favorite snowboarders to watch. I can assure you that up in the riders tent, there was an audible gasp when he went down on that final jump. And then, yeah, remember what I was saying about a street trip?
Yeah.
That right there. Yeah, the kid's just cut from a little bit different of a cloth. He's got really incredible style, amazing outlook on life and snowboarding, just comes from really good stock. And the fact that he's from North Carolina, he really appreciates the opportunities, not that he's just been given, but that he has capitalized on himself.
Yeah, there's a really cool thing. I think you guys talked about it earlier on redbull.com. That story.
Yep.
Really where he's from, spending all day at the mountain, even night riding, and really honing his skills on the rails.
Fresh off a plane from Europe, he goes right to the hill.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's just I'm recovering from the jet lag.
This is how I do it.
Yeah, it's my dance.
And getting to spend time with his parents and his sister and just seeing where he comes from. His parents are just really incredible human beings. Good people.
Oh.
Here's, right now, rider of the day, in my opinion.
Not even a question of a conversation. I mean, Mammoth Lakes, stand up right now for your boy.
I mean, we talk about every year we sit in these chairs and we talk about how the US Open has kicked off so many snowboard careers. You can officially add Dusty Henrickson to that list. He's here.
And he's taking a little victory lap.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm in the dance regardless. Let me just have some fun.
I don't know if he really has any of this planned, to be quite honest. I think he's just going feature by feature, figuring it out on the in-run.
Yeah, that would be his style. Yeah.
That's true talent.
I mean, he won the very 1st of February, he won the Grand Prix, which took place in Mammoth, his home mountain, his second World Cup ever. I mean, that was such a big win for him. And I mean, at that point, he was like, all right, I can do this.
Yeah, we were, we were at the Red Bull Recharged last May, last year. And Dusty was just kind of lapping around and ripping. And all of a sudden they were like, hey, come here, get over here. You're in this thing. Like,
oh,
let's
absolutely.
Go. And he emerged as one of the standouts of the event. It was incredible.
I mean, at the Locks Open, regardless of, he made the final, he qualified first, but regardless of the results, he was doing these hand drag to double front flips off of that bottom roller that just captivated everyone.
Yeah, he's incredible. So Dusty's going to remain in first place. I think it's safe to say you will see him on Friday in the finals. The question is, will he be the first place qualifier by the end of this event?
Well, you know who we should ask? Stanman.
Hello, everyone. Wow.
Good.
I just saw you up there.
I know. I'm on the big set now. This is big. I'm with the big guys. This is important. This feels important.
This is a historical moment for me right now that we get to do this together. So
it's my honor.
It's when I showed back up at the US Open and got the Stan cosign that it was okay for me to be here. I was like, I'm gonna be okay. Stan didn't wreck me.
I wonder who's on the other side approving me being here now. That's what I'm worried about. So,
give us a little recap synopsis of what you were doing a little earlier today. Last Resort Live.
Yeah, we've got a fun little project called Last Resort Live, which is, you've got you guys polished in here in the studio talking about what's going on, and then they just kind of set me loose with a mic and a guy with a backpack, and we're going wherever we want. Kind of just like giving you guys behind the scenes look at what it's like to be in the rider's tent, and definitely just jumping in the riders' faces with a mic when they do not want to talk to me at all.
Well, I noticed that you sat down next to Rene and he grabbed your microphone and just started interviewing you.
Flipped it on you.
Yeah.
So literally anything can happen during your show.
I know, which is nice because I was really not looking forward to starting the conversation. So he just got us moving. But it's been great. We've been kind of like following around, checking in with everybody, and everyone's pretty hyped up today. So it's been super easy. Everyone is just located in one place. It's easy to run into people at the US Open. So
nice.
We're having fun.
Nice to accost them. Well, I'm going to look forward to watching that later on Red Bull TV. And Stan, we invite you in to bless us with your technical prowess, immense, bottomless knowledge as we head here into the critical section of these semifinals.
Yeah.
With young Darcy Schopp somehow on the outside, hoping that he has the key to get into his own home.
Yeah, and we saw that you were just up in the rider's tent. What's the vibe up there? What's being talked about?
So speed is something that's being talked about, and as we're seeing kind of some knuckling, the second jump, what has a good speed, what isn't, and then light. But other than that, everyone's just trying to stick their second one.
Yep. Yeah, Darcy Sharp right here, backside 270 on, 270 off. Huge shocker to me that he is currently not up in that top 10. But this is the crux right here. These two transition takeoff jump features. Backside 900 into the switchback 9, and he sent those big. Board slide 270 tuck knee. Sixth and final feature, the last jump. Frontside 1080, that is a clean run.
Solid
from Darcy
landing.
Sharp.
Perhaps you might want to pour him one.
Gladly.
Bartender, will you pour him one, please?
Now again, I think that was a little bit scaled back for what Darcy would normally do. Played it a little bit safe, but just to get up into that top 10.
You do what you have to so that you can do what you want to later.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Stan, take us through.
Well, as we can see, big back 2 onto this rail. 270 out, too. No small feat. If you're looking at that thing, that staircase is no joke. Do a big gap board slide 270. And into this first, as Rennie put it, the side hit, but it's the biggest side hit known to man, as far as I'm concerned.
That is a side hit that, if it wasn't on the US Open slopestyle course, Ski Patrol would destroy that immediately.
And then this is nice too. I gotta say, I am most blown away about the rail that they stuck in between all of these jumps. You've got
I think
two
it's dope.
gigantic quarter pipe side hit jumps into a rail into the final jump. And I gotta say, everyone has just been holding that together. We did see Mark McMorris go like 600 feet on a 610, but it's Darcy laid that one down. You know, you got to figure he's trying to show something after that X Games win, but definitely playing it safe to get out of qualies.
Take a look at those scores in the 8s.
This is going to be a big score, too. Bang.
Wow.
With room.
There we go.
With room.
And a sense of normalcy returns to a wild afternoon. Darcy Sharp is in second place, unable to dethrone Dusty Henrickson right now. But we still got Mark McMorris, Brock Crouch, Lion Farrell, Judd Henkes, Red Gerard, Sven Thorgren. It's going to get very interesting in these final runs.
Ruki Tabita.
Yeah.
Ruki.
From Kawaguchi, Japan, only 20 years of age, running the clears.
Yes, Stan, what's your go-to low-light lens?
You know, I'm a huge fan of the clear, or I like to go a little purple.
Okay,
if
a
I can.
little purple.
Yeah.
I like that.
Shout out the purple lens.
I'm a yellow guy.
You said yellow. Yeah, I agreed with you. I was like, yellow, yes.
I need the contrast.
Doesn't matter what I'm wearing. It usually just comes down to like prayer and hope. Like, please don't make it end badly.
Just close your eyes.
As unfortunately, this is just a demo now for Mr. Tobita after that fall on the second rail.
Wow.
What?
Ooh. Front 10. Switchback 10 seems to be the safe trick on this last jump, or back 10. Some variation.
The 1080.
Yeah. The safe option is the 1080.
That's a very 2020 statement.
Yeah. That is.
You know,
safe option.
Everybody just chill out. Just throw a little safe 1080 in there, and everything will be just fine.
Did you see that side hit?
Yeah, side hits that are double overhead and safe 1080s. Welcome to the US Open 2020.
So Ruki Tobita, unfortunately, will not be enough to get him up into that top 10, but the young 20-year-old Japanese phenom will be back. We will see him again.
Going hard way 3 out of that, too. Impressive.
Yeah, right now, Japan is a snowboard superstar factory right now.
Oh.
They are producing incredible snowboarders, male, female, pipe, slopestyle,
I was going to say,
is.
wait until we get to half pipe because there's some riders.
Japanese are the Brazilian surfers of snowboarding.
Yes.
That was a great
yeah.
comparison.
Print it.
Print that up.
Print that in the snowboarder. I better see it, or I'm storming the offices. All right, let's get serious here. 4-time champ, arguably one of the greatest snowboarders on the planet. This is what he thrives on, the last-minute dance. But, you know, how many times can you do it, Mark McMorris? We're about to find out.
Let's see if he can do it again. 50-50, frontside 270 into the backside 270 on. And there's is the frontside double cork 9. Into the mirror image of that trick.
Yeah, that was dirty.
Yeah.
He stomped that. This is.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I didn't see a hand drag up top, did you? No, not anymore.
We've forgotten at this point. Wow. That's something to be proud of, Mark McMorris. Really hoping to see him stick that run. As T-Bird said, Mark McMorris, complete pressure cooker when it comes to competing at the US Open, and gosh, I hope we see him in finals.
I mean, he's the GOAT in the slopestyle realm. Like, the dude knows how to get it done when it counts, and that's what separates the good from the great.
I think he did enough.
I think so, too.
He went for a quick outerwear change with Danny Davis, too. Official word.
Oh, really?
They've changed clothes, yeah.
Same color?
Same. That's Danny's kit right there.
That's awesome.
He's literally wearing Danny's clothes right now.
Backside 270. And judges for docking it pretty heavy on that top rail because he came up so early.
Yeah, look at those trick scores. 7 out of 10. That's strong. This is going to be more than a 7. This was his best jump trick of the entire run. 8.1 out of 10.
Absolutely, and that landing.
This one was deep.
Yeah, he sent that one.
See,
very deep.
That's a low score.
So how many times have you seen Mark McMorris on the final jump just do a 1080? Usually it's a 1440 or a 1620.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is a very rare thing to
and
see.
there's 3 corks.
And it was held forever, and it was and he got a 5.7 for it.
That just goes to show.
This might not be as sure as we thought.
Into our final scores coming in.
I think he's just trying to scoop into that necessary position, save something for finals.
By the way, that's the best statement. Scoop in to the final.
So an improvement, obviously, from run
But
number 1.
not
But we will not see Mark McMorris in our
that
final, unfortunately.
is
17th place here in our
a shocker and heartbreaking for Mark on a lot of levels.
Champion. What an incredible
Wow.
accomplishment that has
He did
been
not
for
want
him.
that. I'm with you on that on the cannon rail.
Well, we're in an interesting time in slope right now that a lot of these young kids are really knocking on the door. You got Red, you got Brock, you got Dusty just hammering at the door trying to get into those spots. And, on a day like today, Mark McMorris is going to feel that heat.
Talked about it yesterday in the meeting.
Yep.
About how this was a change. This had the possibility of being a changing of the guard event, and we're in love with the superstars. And we want to see the continued legacy dominance. But wow, the kids have something to say.
Brock Crouch juiced up rail line.
Yeah, Brock is one of those riders that looks like he's just sometimes got a better wax job. He just goes so fast and so big.
And that 720 was nice. Again, the way he took off on that.
Oh, hold on to it.
This is what it's going to come down to here for Brock Crouch. Can he put it down? It's a good run from Brock Crouch.
Yeah, that's
a
one to be-
strong run.
Yes, Brock Crouch obviously been battling for the top spot in a lot of these contests lately. I think that there's an energy surrounding him. He wants that one spot.
Yeah, I think he's due for a big win, too. I mean, he's always in the running. He's always one of the riders that's considered to be a favorite. Just doesn't quite have that big win yet.
Well, he finished up 4th earlier at X Games and then came on to Do Tour 2nd next to Red.
Yep.
So you can tell he's like, no, I'm ready.
Well, and he and Red have they're best of buds, but they've been kind of subconsciously creating this rivalry through their riding. They're always kind of battling for those top 1, 2, 3 spots. So it's kind of, creating an interesting dynamic between the two of them when they're strapped in.
Just a 4
50-50 backside 540.
Back 5 out.
I feel like I'm watching like Amp 2 or something.
Yeah.
Like a video game at times.
The speed that, as we were saying, the 2 jump and then the speed you can take into that up rail is astronomical. So it's going to give you all the time in the world. Who knows what we're going to see off that thing come finals, especially if the sun pops. I'm worried.
This is close.
38.6 for a trick score. 68 for a total score.
Not enough.
And look who's sitting in the 10th place spot. Red Gerard right now, with Lion Farrell, Ståle, Judd Henkes, and Sven Thorgren left to drop. This is getting real interesting.
Not that it's ever been easy, but the U.S. Open of snowboarding is hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's just no hiding in that every feature equals score. There's just no place to hide, and these judges are relentless.
Talk about just a huge qualifying field as well, 30 riders.
Yeah.
Cut down to 10.
Yeah.
That's insane.
From Maui, Lion Farrell.
Ooh, misses the second portion of that rail. As he is just flying through this course right now. Backside 12, not quite able to put it down.
And that is going to do it. Aloha, Lion Farrell. He's going to spread some aloha down the rest of this course.
I got to give a shout out to Cliff for making the Cliff bar. You know what I'm saying? They make the bar. It's the Cliff bar. That's thinking right there. I like that.
It is.
Somebody in marketing was like, I got an idea.
Yeah.
I think this could be a thing.
We are going to make the most literal reference of all time.
Yeah.
Sir, it might be a little on the nose. Actually, not at all. Let's go. That's the point.
I always did the same thing.
So Lion Farrell, I mean, good on you for going back 12 on this thing. That's a feature that every single rider has been struggling with all day. And he just says, you know what? I'm going back 12.
Yeah,
I'm not switching anything up.
The only other guy that really was stepping, Mons Roisland was doing 1080s on that.
Yeah.
But most other riders were doing 900s.
One more time, hands together down there for Lion Farrell.
Farrell down bottom. You also got to imagine it's tough, as we know this morning during practice, just so sunny. Sunny, perfect.
Birds were singing. You could hear them.
Yeah.
You could hear birds singing through the air.
That was actually me.
Was that you?
That was a T-bird.
T-bird. That's a T-bird. Good. Wow. That was a low-hanging fruit.
It was. That was
you
too
picked
easy.
from your own tree.
Too easy.
All right. The old man.
Yeah.
26. Still at Sandbeck.
Safe in third. You're going to see him on Friday.
He's in.
Will he try to dethrone Dusty Henrickson? Does he want that #1 spot? Because remember, you qualify first, you drop last on finals day. That's a strategic advantage. That helps a veteran like Ståle Sandbeck. Back one on. And then switch that second rail island. Switch front lip 270. Cab double cork 9.
Stop.
To the bottom.
Stop.
Into the front side 1080. And I was just about to say I think he's going for the #1 spot. But sitting in third, that's a good place to be going into finals day.
Yeah, he's looking really good. And, you know, Ståle, every year he comes back and he's just more relevant than ever.
Yeah.
Well, when you just look that good doing it, you already have an advantage.
Yeah. I think one of the most impressive things I've ever seen a competitive snowboarder do was 2014 Sochi. The judges, all these riders had just kind of learned these new crazy double corks and stuff. Ståle comes out in a run full of double corks. Sage comes in, pretty much spins flat and gets a high score. And Ståle says, you know what? I'm spinning flat. And I remember being like, this dude can do whatever he wants.
He can do both.
Yeah, it's wild. He's so versatile. Yeah, he's an incredible snowboarder, has been for a long time, and will continue to be for a very long time.
Yes. Kind of a slow start to his season, too. So this one probably feels pretty good for him, you know?
Yeah.
Finished up on the podium just a couple weeks ago at Dew Tour, there with Brock and Red.
Snuck it in. Stole it from Rennie at the last second for third.
So Judd Henkes has decided, you know what? I'm in. I'm going to save my fuel for Friday.
Okay.
He's not taking his run.
I respect it.
So Sven Thorgren, Svenny T, who's also already in the dance. He's like, I'm going to take my run. Maybe Judd's got something going on that we're unaware of, but that is his right.
Yep, sitting comfortably in 6th, and then the next rider to drop, Red Gerard's in 10th. So we do have our top 10. That was a whirlwind of an afternoon here.
I know. 64 runs.
Yeah. Cab 270 on, 270 off.
I wonder what Red's stress meter was for the last half hour.
You know, I saw him up in the 10. He seemed collected.
So. Seemed red.
Seemed red.
Ready. Not gonna matter. 6th place sitting inside the top 10.
Sven, of course. Oh, going fronty off this. Part of the Scandinavian powerhouse that we see at all of these contests, you know, part of the conglomerate. Getting a little warmed up before going to X Games Norway. Hoping to maybe walk into that one with a nice little victory. Sven's always someone you want to see at the top, someone who rides hard, has the tricks. Part of that older guard, too, that we were talking about.
Yeah, and last year, you know, seeing him come back from an injury, end up in 2nd place here behind Red and in front of Mark. Pretty cool.
I'm old enough to remember when 25 was you hadn't even peaked yet in snowboarding. And now it's like, yeah, part of that older guard.
24.
21. 25, 26. Really hoping that he's saved well.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Unfortunately.
Yes, man.
All right, we'll see him on Friday.
Score coming in is going to be 26.8.
And last will be the red dude.
Last year's champion.
Brings us back up to the top.
Defending champ going last.
Respect on him taking this run, though. Could have bowed out.
I mean, I think he doesn't want to be the first rider to drop in Slopestyle finals. That's what he's doing here. Because if he finishes up 10th in this, that means he drops first in the finals.
Yeah.
So he wants to get a higher score so that he's dropping more near the end of the pack.
That's X Games gold medalist and strategist Tina Dixon, folks. And also, I've never met anyone who's just less willing to accept her flowers whenever I mention that you have an X Games gold medal. Like, accept your flowers, Tina. Be like, yes, that's me.
I'd be telling the barista.
Every day.
Every day.
You hang with me when we go to the coffee shop.
When housekeeping comes to my door, I'd be like, yes, turn down service. And also, did you know I'm an X Games gold medal? Red is not chilling.
Cab double cork 9.
Wow.
Oh, like that.
Sneaky 180 at the end there.
Gonna go switch backside 1440.
Oh, Red Gerard.
Well, okay then.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't want to drop first. Tina called it.
Inside the mind of an athlete.
By Tina Dixon.
That kid
Order now on Amazon.
Ever ceases to amaze me.
So what's interesting, we haven't seen that many 1440s today.
No.
Very few. Mark McMorris did a 1080.
Yeah.
But Red does a switch backside.
Yeah, pretty much in every aspect of snowboarding, Red is consistently amazing people.
Whether it be movie parts, one of the riders really to show up as well, film amazing stuff, enjoy.
Yep.
Also show up, show that he can win a medal. Really kind of proving that he is just one of the best riders all around, no matter how you want to take it.
As I said earlier, like if you say like who gets to carry the torch in the name of the Terriers and the Travises, etc., it's Red.
Yeah, he's next. Switch backside triple cork 1440. That's the highest live rank score I've seen on that jump all day.
How's this landing?
That was one of the best landings I've ever seen from him on this specific trick.
Yeah. Hey, he's fired up.
You couldn't tell by the no claim.
Yeah, he had to do it for the squad, you know, like his squad maybe didn't place in the top 10 like he wanted. You know he had to come up and do something for his squad. Although Judd's in there as well.
Yep.
Judd had a good run.
Yeah, Judd had a really good run. 42, that's a big trick score.
Overall's going to be strong.
So a little bit of an improvement there for Red.
All right, so he's going to bump up to 9th.
So his weakest link was that first feature.
First rail,
he
yeah.
got a 2.1 on that.
Yeah.
Was it a 2.1? I thought it was a 4. Oh, yeah, 2.1.
Yep.
Yeah, that's going to make a difference.
Just for coming off a rail a little bit early. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just no freebies.
No.
Nothing
Well, to be
given.
fair, if you were in the streets or you were filming and you came off that rail early, you'd probably hike back to the top and film it again.
Good point.
For sure.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's not the part you want.
You wouldn't want to showcase that. So
if you wouldn't put it in your video part or even your throwaway clip,
yeah.
then why do you want points for it at the Open?
Very true. And you know what? Red's in. We're going to see him on Friday. It's going to be an insane final.
He's going to be the second rider to drop.
Yes.
Not the first.
Just that
the
little bit of
second.
buffer. Probably going to happen.
Well, we can talk about him all day, but let's get into the mind of the red one who is standing by on the headset. Gerard.
Yes, what up?
Departeau.
How's it going?
What was the send vibe heading into that thing?
Oh man, yeah, no, I was definitely hyped to hear that I made finals, but I don't know, just didn't really want to qualify down there, so I'm happy I got to move up by one, and really happy I got to land that run, so I'm pretty psyched.
Well, Tina called it. She said Red's not going to lay back because he does not want to. He does not want to go first in the final.
Yeah, no, that was definitely my goal. Yeah.
Redman, were you fired up? This is T-Bird here. Were you fired up when you stomped that switch back, triple cork 14?
I was very fired up, Bird, for sure. Yeah, I've been kind of filming in jack and stuff, haven't been able to do a ton of tricks, so that was the first one that I've done that felt really good. So, yeah, I was really hyped on landing that.
Were you surprised at all? I mean, you were one of the very few riders that were doing triple cork 1440s, a switchback side triple cork 1440s, but we didn't see a lot of those tricks on that bottom jump. We saw a lot of just 1080s.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't really know completely how to answer that, but no, I was just kind of happy to do my run and stuff. And the switchback side 10, the switchback side 14, there's just like a pretty big scoring difference there. So, yeah, I was pretty happy to land that one.
Red Buddy, you've had a pretty incredible last year, and it's impressive your dedication to not only competition and riding at the highest level, but your commitment to getting out into the backcountry and really proving that you want to be in that conversation of an overall snowboarder. Mm-hmm. Why at such a young age have you chosen to take on this much responsibility in your overall riding?
Mainly because, I mean, I don't know. I grew up watching video parts. I watch them every year and stuff. And same with contests. So for me, I like to try to just split it 50-50 for sure. And it's really kind of cool because contests, you can get stuck in a pretty big, rut in a way. And then when you got the opportunity, there's a 10-day break in between contests. They go film and then come back to a contest. Your headspace is all clear and stuff. And it's just really fun filming. And honestly, same with contests. I have a blast.
Red, how many snowmobiles do you have on your truck right now?
On my truck, I have 2 right now. I have 2 snowmobiles, me and my brother. Yeah, head by the Rams horn. You can go see him if you want.
All right, we're post-contest Roops with the Red Man. Congratulations and good luck to you on Friday, sir.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right.
Woo. Love that kid.
Wow.
Yeah.
You gotta love the old soul mindset, man. He gets it.
Yeah.
And he said it too. He's like, you go into the backcountry and you have a couple days out there and it just gets your headspace right. And I mean, there's so many different aspects of snowboarding. There's, competitive snowboarding, and then there's that type of snowboarding. And, Red's showing us kind of does a little bit of everything.
He does. And I feel like his family, right, his brothers have always pushed him to not get a big head, never get content, always want more. You look at Brendan and Trevor and guys like that and his entire family, they're like, whoa, yeah, you won a gold medal, but can you land in POW? It's a really cool dynamic he's got going on with his family life.
Exactly. Well, Tina, Stan, thank you. We've made history.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
The pleasure is all mine.
Hopefully it's not the last time. We're going to get into our post so shortly. Special guests, Kelly Clark and Danny Davis. You're welcome. Stick with us here on day 1 of the Burton US Open Snowboarding Championships, celebrating the incredible life of the one and only Jake Burton, and we are just getting started.
More than the sum of its parts. This is The Collective. Faction Skis. Now available on Red Bull TV. at the peak of his career, an horrific accident in the Canadian backcountry almost ended Mark McMorris's life.
It's not what the future is going to be, it's whether he is going to have a future.
He went from fighting for Olympic gold to fighting for his life in just 1 second. Discover the most incredible comeback in snowboard history. Unbroken, the snowboard life of Mark McMorris. Now available on Red Bull TV.
From underground activity to Olympic sport.
It's hard to explain, you don't get it from anything else. Maximum adrenaline filled with maximum happiness and relief.
Jump into the world of snowboarding. Terminology, tricks, and how it all began. See spectacular runs and meet the big names in history. The ABC of snowboarding, now available on Red Bull TV.
Welcome back to Vail, day 1 of the Burton US Open Snowboarding Championships. And that slopestyle course has been beaten up all day. It's gonna get a breather. It's gonna get some reset for more fired upness on Friday. Just a sample of where snowboarding is going this week at the granddaddy of them all, the US Open. And we welcome in Kelly Clark and Danny Davis.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thanks for stopping by. What are your assessments here on day 1?
Day 1 of the US Open, kind of awesome.
It was really nice for the ladies. And then the clouds rolled in and made it a little flat light for the boys. But
yeah, that was a big storyline for the day. It's crazy how quick it can just change the whole dynamic of everything.
Definitely. I mean, a lot of runs put down, but a lot of runs fallen from some key players in that field. For sure.
I'm still in shock that we're not going to say Mark McMorris's name.
Yeah,
I know.
That's a heartbreaker. It's wild, man. On the other end of that, though, a rider like Dusty Henrickson.
Yeah.
Welcome to the party. Put down an insane run. That he's on the come up.
Yeah.
But yeah, today I feel like the equalizers were just those 2 transition features with the jump landings, right? Like a lot of people were struggling with both of them.
Yeah, it's a really dynamic course. I think everything had to come together perfect for it to work. And with that low light, it just made it really difficult to really just piece it all together.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
No place to hide on this course. Protect Our Winners is an incredible initiative that is dedicated to the preservation of these lands that we love to play in. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Jake, whether he knew it or not, he was building this legacy, this sport, this lifestyle, something that we all love, something we all enjoy. And Pau and Burton have been working together for quite a few years now, protecting the mountains, protecting our lifestyle, and protecting snowboarding.
Yeah, I know Danny and I both have spent some time going to DC with Pau and really just communicating our own personal stories of how we've experienced climate change in our industry, in our sport, in our lifestyle. And it's amazing when you speak up, they actually listen.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I mean, there's a ton of us here, right? There's over 2 million snowboarders in the USA, or in the world rather, or in the US. And imagine if everybody comes together and kind of joins forces to at least be heard, and that's kind of where we're at right now. We got to band everyone together, get on the same team, get on the same page, and start making our voice heard.
So that we can continue to play in these lands that we love to play in. Let's take a look at a piece for a little bit more insight.
The outdoor community knows the power of margins.
Oh, she almost just got swept.
The seemingly small efforts made at just the right moments carry enough weight to tip the scale from failure to success.
Proper execution, that's how you ride a half pipe.
These are the margins that define our community.
More than 15,000 scientists are sounding an alarm about climate change.
Environmental and political history are also made at the margins. 77,000 votes in key districts swung the 2016 presidential election. 3 Senate votes opened the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge to drilling. To solve the climate crisis, the world needs our community. It's the sum of our small efforts, where we turn our passion into purpose and deliver climate victories where they're needed most.
How do people at home who watch that and get fired up, how do they get involved?
You know, 2020 is a huge year for us, and we have the opportunity to speak up.
Yeah, and I think it's easier than ever. You know, POW's kind of made it very simple. Just what you saw there. Text POW Burton to 52886 and pledge to vote with POW. That's POWBURTON to 52886. Pledge up and vote. I'm not saying who to vote for.
Yeah.
Just vote,
Just pledge
please.
up and vote.
Yep.
Use
Made
your
it
voice.
easy.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, thank you guys for flying the flag and being vocal. Because when you use your platforms, that encourages people to be like, okay, yeah, I guess I'm going to take advantage of the fact that this is my right and I can flex my voice as well. This is an incredible week of snowboarding. He had the greatest event in the history of snowboarding, celebrating the legendary Jake Burton. And we let the fans get involved, of course, in getting to pick some of their favorites with the Cliff Best line via social media. So make sure you guys get involved in that. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Get involved conversation
Yeah,
here.
just super get involved.
Get out
the
there,
fans,
folks.
The fans do not lie.
We need you.
Yeah. The hashtag is Burton US Open. Let us know the manners that you are watching and get involved and pick that Cliff Best line. And we look forward to the U-Pipe, a very interesting dance going on up there.
Yeah, they're going to get in there tomorrow morning, and we're going to see how it goes.
What do you make of the adjustments to the pipe? Excited for tomorrow?
Very. There's, we got some small transition up top. It's going to be fun, man. Hand plants, mini airs, into a big pipe.
You name it. Let's party.
I'm excited to watch. I'm excited to sit in here with you guys and tell you what I think.
You
No
know-
longer in the U-shaped obstacle. I'm here in the booth.
Last year, having you was a joy. It made our job very, very easy. We're like, we don't have to do anything. Kelly's so good.
She knows everything.
Well, it was like a test I knew all the answers to. I was like, I know this one. What went wrong? I know this one. It was great.
And then some. So look forward to Kelly Clark joining us tomorrow. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Danny Davis. Great hat, by the way, but it's what you do. You folks at home, hope that you got enough snowboarding in your soul. Digest it and come back tomorrow for day 2 of the Burton US Open Snowboarding Championships. We will leave you with some highlights here on day 1, and we'll see you tomorrow.